2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Nice buns, soft, fluffy, and ultra-low net carbs. Discover Hero Bread, the delicious ultra-low net carb bread with incredible taste and texture. Hero Bread has 0 grams of sugar and is under 100 calories per serving. Plus, high in fiber with 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. Available on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, and at hero.co. That's HERO.co. Delicious, ultra-low net carb Hero Bread buns and tortillas. Soft and fluffy, high in fiber, and with 0 grams of sugar, up to 10 grams of protein, coming in at under 100 calories. Order today at hero.co and use the code AH10 to get 10% off your first purchase. That's AH10 at hero.co. HERO.co. Order from hero.co now and get 10% off your first purchase with promo code AH10. That's 10% off with code AH10. HERO.co.
That is my refill jar. I just tapped the new keg yesterday.
Hey, so you made a kegerator out of a fridge, or one of your little mini fridges, right?
No, I bought one. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What is up, Panther Nation? It is draft night, and welcome to the C3 Panthers podcast. It's the live draft show. Look, my phone alarm is going off, letting me know, get your ass on the internet and get ready for this NFL draft with Panther fans. I have been advertising that this is the 8th annual draft. I believe I was incorrect. I believe it's the 7th draft party. I believe we started with Kelvin Benjamin, but tonight we carry on the tradition. You guys come to us. COVID brought the world to the internet with us as we look at the draft together live as it unfolds with Panther fans. The Cat Calls line is open tonight, 252-228-5098, where you can be a part of the show. We want to hear your thoughts about who the Panthers should take, what will happen in the first 10 picks, and after the pick, call in and let us know your thoughts on the draft. Tonight, we get to break it down with the usual crew. Cody Lashney in the house. I know you're pumped.
Tony Dunn, I've got a beer with a straw in it. If that doesn't tell you I'm fucking ready to go, then nothing will, man. And as always, hope springs eternal around draft time. Man, we're all wanting to see who the next player is that we're going to be cheering for the next, hopefully, 10 to 15 years. We're joined by the most lit fans in Panther fandom. DJ Moore, Trill One, Underground West, Tommy Doc Martin, Shaked Bartal, Chef Jeff, Tony Dunn, and nothing to it but to do it, brother. It's draft night. Let's roll.
I heard today someone sent me a DM. They said they had a source, but I don't know who that is, that the Panthers were not interested in drafting Isaiah Simmons. This was not related to the tweet we had about the meetings and stuff, but I think this individual saw it. So I know that Greg wants Isaiah Simmons. Greg in the house, hanging out, watching the draft with us, the stat daddy. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm super excited, man. And I promise you, this morning when I woke up, the first thing that came in my mind was today is the day. So today is the day we're going to find out a little bit more about where this franchise is going and what our future is going to be. So I'm super excited.
I just want you to look over your right shoulder.
My right shoulder?
Oh,
yeah.
My wife's up there dancing.
nice. She's excited for the draft.
She is.
So I like that. I think you said something very important there, is that we get to learn about where this team is going. And we don't know very much about this team. Today I watched a video with Matt Rule. He looked exhausted. That's what that came away with. But we don't know much about this team. We don't know much about the roster. We don't know about the vision just yet. We do know some of the coaching staff, and we're learning about them, but we have yet to see any of it really come to fruition. Today, I think maybe you could say we saw a little bit in free agency. Today, I think you're right. We get to see a little bit about what this team is prioritizing, how they think about tackling this rebuild. CK in the house. The draft is here, and what I'm most excited about at CK is we finally have something real to talk about, not just speculation. And really, hope springs eternal on draft night for all teams. This should be a night where we walk away enthused to be Panther fans. Do you expect that to happen?
I think I haven't really experienced a draft where you didn't come away somewhat optimistic. I mean, these guys are going to have film that indicates that they're a top tier talent. Otherwise, they're not going in the first round, especially at 7. So, I mean, I anticipate coming away feeling enthusiastic, but I also expect that there's probably going to be some disappointment because everybody has their favorites, and if we don't draft the person that we want, then we're going to feel as though it's a failure. But until we get a chance to actually review all of that film that we'll inevitably see a ton of tomorrow, we're going to have this sense of disappointment. But I think that all in all, regardless, we're going to get a player, especially if we draft at number 7, that is going to impact this franchise for years to come.
The good news is drafting at 7 with Marty Hurney you truly should deliver a top-rate talent if you go by his performance in the past. One of the things with Marty Hurney is not been afraid to take a position group that you think is already strong. So I think that's where some of the fear comes in when it comes to maybe the wide receiver. And I wouldn't even argue that is necessarily strong. It's just we certainly know it's not need-based, but he has not really been a need-based guy in the first rounds. If you go back to the 2012 draft where he drafted Luke Kuechly over a guy like, Morris Claiborne we needed a corner really desperately that year. We needed a defensive end. I saw someone mentioning today that they had met with Quentin Coples that year. So the good news is Marty Hurney usually shoots true in the first round. The bad news, though, is if we do decide to pick a wide receiver, Marty Hurney's white whale is the wide receiver. If you think about him, he has never been able to draft anybody beyond, and I'm not even sure if he drafted Smitty. He might have been just taking over the organization at that time, so he might have gotten Steve Smith in the 3rd, but he always was trying to replicate the duo of Masim Muhammad and Steve Smith, and he just could never get it right. If you think about this, we could go back to LaFell. LaFell might have been the most successful of the wide receivers he drafted, but you also had Kerry Colbert, Dwayne Jarrett, there's some other people, Marnie Edwards, not high pick though for him. But at the same time, guys, a lot of rumblings have been happening, and someone just sent me a tweet because I said if we have a wide receiver at 7 tonight, I'm gonna have a meltdown. He said, "Are you really gonna have a meltdown if we get Jerry Jeudy or who's the other guy that they like?"
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. And I would say no, I'm not. I mean, I guess when you say it like that, that's intriguing because you do like those players. But for me, I would be much more excited if the name that was called was Tua than Jerry Jeudy.
So let me give you my opinion on this. If the Carolina Panthers draft a receiver or an offensive tackle this year, the Panthers have no interest in making a legitimate push to be a contender this year. In my mind, if you look at Matt Rule, what he did at Temple, what he did at Baylor, the first year is always tearing down the house, and the second, third year you're building it up anew. And in my mind, that's what going offense in round one would be. I mean, how would you justify, with all the holes on our defense right now, taking another wide receiver when you already have Curtis Samuel, you already have DJ Moore, now you have Robbie Anderson, and you have Farrell Cooper? Like, there's no roster reason to draft a receiver unless you're thinking, well, we're going to have a different franchise quarterback down the road. Let's make sure he has a true number one by the time he's here, whoever that is.
As we just have, so it just seems this, as I understand, take the best player available, but generally I think it's hard to argue that between position groups at times. You know, how do you argue if Jerry Jeudy is a better player overall than, say, Isaiah Simmons, right? I mean, I don't think it's kind of like trying to compare different fruits and talk about which is the most valuable of the two.
And one has the potential to be a once in a lifetime player, while another one is just a really good receiver in a class full of really good wide receivers.
But I do think you're absolutely right. If that pick comes in, that really signals to us that this is a team that's trying to create an offense in the future and have weapons maybe installed that are getting ready for their prime when you find your guy at quarterback. Or you could argue, too, that these guys are not rolling over on offense this year and they're pushing their chips on that side and they're just going to figure it out on defense. The problem is picking an offensive player in the thought of having a season this year in the first round when we don't have anyone on defense seems just ludicrous.
Yeah. Well, let me ask it. Just say for a second that we did draft a wide receiver first, like CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy. Okay, what does that do for our wide receiver core? I know, Cody, you were mentioning the guys we had. Like, say if we did, what would it be? Would it be him number one and DJ Moore number two? And then do we keep Curtis Samuel in the three and then kick out Robbie Anderson or Farrell Cooper? Like,
who knows, man? I mean, I would have to imagine that DJ Moore probably gets some benefit of the doubt, having been here longer, and Samuel even longer than him. But I don't know how you draft a receiver in the first round and not give him meaningful snaps at the X receiver position. So I really don't know. I mean, that's my point, though. You're going to add to a receiving room that already has a bunch of talent in it. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Plus, we have to protect Teddy Bridgewater. Offensive tackle would be a much better move than a wide receiver. And I wouldn't be mad at that. Because it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You have to protect them. And we still don't have a franchise left tackle right now.
All right, let's turn our attention to outside the Carolina Panthers. In related news, we have heard, and I see some people, D'Angelo DeLegend says the wide receiver is a smokescreen for a trade back. Jordan Rodriguez put up a story today on The Athletic about how there were viable partners for the Panthers if they were going to trade back. Matt Rule said that, of course, that would be on the table if somebody made them a good offer. So we've heard talks about the Panthers moving around more back than up, but as well, you're even hearing things like the Falcons were interested in trying to secure the number 2 pick from the Washington Redskins in hopes of obtaining Chase Young. A lot of rumors about teams moving up for offensive linemen in this. Where do you guys see, or where are you hearing the buzz in this type of movement in the draft? And I mean, because that's the stuff that makes it fun and really shakes it up when we don't know what's going to happen, because it changes the game of the mock drafts when all of a sudden someone takes a wide receiver at 4 and nobody saw it coming. Big shout out to Tree 50 for his Tree 50 love bomb in the chat. Thank you for your donation to the C3 Panthers podcast. We'll keep it rocking and rolling every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. You can follow us on YouTube, subscribe, smash the thumbs up button while you're watching right now. We're on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. And make sure you check us out Tuesday night, 9 p.m. We haven't missed a week. 1 week. We only missed 1 week in 8 years, right? So it's a pretty consistent fan podcast. And be a part of the show by calling in at 252-228-5098. Guys, what are you hearing around the league when it comes to, or what are you thinking about when it comes to the smoke and the rumors?
Well, I have heard many rumors about Atlanta. I haven't heard number 2 like what you said. But I've heard from a number of people online that Atlanta is desperately trying to move up into the top 10 for a corner, specifically, is what I've heard. I've heard that the Jacksonville Jaguars might be looking to trade down. I've heard trade up rumors from the Broncos, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who feared that they might not have one of the big 4 tackles available to them by the time they draft. And they need someone to protect Tom Brady. I mean, they built the offense around him. They have the weapons. Now they just need to better protect him. So I wouldn't doubt it if Tampa Bay or the Falcons, our division rivals, might be the ones knocking on our door asking for pick number 7.
CK, thoughts on movement in this draft? You were,
I think
you were talking about how it makes it exciting for us because we get more draft to care about.
Well, real quick, shout out to Steven Zimmerman for the $20 love bomb and the "You Are Amazing."
That's what's up, dude.
Thanks to you, man, you're amazing. Shout out to you.
I'm gonna send you that YouTube. My friend Carl Van sent me a video, and it was, by the way, it looked like a Matt Rule 20-year-old, and it was just like, I just want to tell you that you're amazing. Somebody needs to tell you you're fantastic. So thank you, Steven. You are amazing.
But what I was saying is that I think there's going to be a lot of excitement about what we're dealing with as far as if we move back. I mean, I think for the sake of the show, even, right? We're going to be able to have a lot of people tuning in to really just build that anticipation up and look forward to that pick to come out. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm hoping that we do, but we'll find out, I suppose.
When is
I will.
here is that really how many teams generally move? I don't feel like, I guess there are always trades. I just don't feel like the Panthers have been involved in them. Right? It's before our time, really, of doing this show is probably the last time the Panthers made significant moves. I guess you could say we moved up for Greg Little last year. We moved up for Devin Funchess. That was a complete thing. Is that you want to talk about, CK, you said earlier, I don't know how you couldn't be optimistic. I tell you this, is get your sight set on Bradley Roby or Allen Robinson and have the pick come in with Kelvin Benjamin. I'll tell you how disappointed you could be. They used to make fun of me, and I used to get like all of this mail from people, like tweets and messages all throughout Kelvin Benjamin's rookie year about how I flipped out on the draft party, how I was like a hater and all of this. And then guess what? Turns out
Catching cheeseburgers.
I was right.
Hey, real quick, shout out. Were you gonna say that?
Yeah, man, and
Yeah,
not only shouting out Josh from Mass, but the very specific dollar donation so that you never forget that the Falcons blew the biggest lead in Super Bowl history because they're a bullshit football team. Josh, you know we fucking love you, bro.
Josh from Mass, I hope the no smoking is still going well because I've picked it back up and I got to join you on the kick it train.
I wish I could kick it, man.
I can. I just got to choose to. That's the thing. Josh from Mass, $28.30. Never forget that the Falcons suck. Now, I tell you this, is I went on a Bucks podcast last night, guys, and they were really interested about the outside perspective about the NFC South. and how the Saints, and my position is that the Saints deserve to be the number one for right now. The Bucks are exciting and trying to put together a super team, they're pushing their chips in this year, so you expect them to be good. The Falcons are a team you never know what you're going to get. They're like a box of chocolates without the map. Is that you're hoping that this is not an orange chocolate, orange cream. You're hoping it's not orange cream. But the Panthers, we don't know what we're going to get with the Panthers. I expect them to be ranked number 4 at this point. But I don't know. Is that you never know how it's going to shake out. And a lot of people, this is why I brought this up, is speaking of the Falcons, the idea of what are the Patriots going to do. A lot of people I've seen people link Tua's name to the Patriots, and I still think it would be a great, great moment for the NFL and for us if the Patriots, with starting quarterback Cam Newton, met Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. That would be freaking fantastic.
Yeah, that would be. Who are you pulling for? Are you pulling for the Patriots?
I'm pulling for Cam. That's it. Cam, okay. One single individual. That's it. Is one single individual. Wouldn't that be weird to actually think you could cheer for the Patriots? Like, that's what it would take.
Yeah. It would definitely be weird. But like I said, I think we brought that up a long time ago, Cam going to the Patriots. And it's still a possibility. They still need a quarterback, and he's still out there. We'll see what they do in the draft, but I don't know if I see Belichick drafting a quarterback.
All right, so going through, do we think? Thank you, Bradley Tate, for your support. You guys are being so generous tonight. We appreciate it. We are here just to hang out and have fun. We appreciate y'all's support and the thank you from you guys. But man, we have the most fun hanging out and watching the draft with Panther fans, and it's a great way to do this. We've been doing it for a while now. And I think you'll see a lot of people ditching ESPN and coming and hanging out with people like us around us. I know a lot of the independent media is gaining a lot of traction in this time as the regular media looks more regular each and every day. So call into the show, 252-228-5098. We'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about with the draft. What is on your mind? What you want the Panthers to do and where you see the movement occurring. Guys, starting with draft pick number 1, really it looks like more and more, we've all said it is just locked up, right, with Joe Burrow. So then it goes to number 2. Chase Young seems to be the pick there if the Redskins are picking, but Detroit seems to be a wild card, guys. A lot of people have said that they've been interested in trading. That could be smokescreen. A lot of people believe firmly that Okudah is still the guy. Where do you see the kind of shakeup occurring? Is it at 3, Cody? Is it at 4? Are the Dolphins trying to move to 3? And what do you make of the Dolphins actually trying to draft a lineman before they secure their quarterback?
So, one, that's such BS, dude. If you believe that they're trying to move up for an offensive lineman instead of a quarterback, I have some property on Mars to sell you. But one of the rumors I have heard is that they're trying to move from 5 to 3 so that they can move from 3 to number 1. Apparently, the Dolphins are head over heels for Joe Burrow, and apparently they're willing to offer the Bengals their entire draft or something crazy like that to get the number 1 pick in the draft. Now, are the Bengals going to move away from that? I doubt. I seriously doubt that. In my opinion, the draft starts at number 3. It's after Chase Young and Joe Burrow are off the board. What do the Lions do? Isaiah Simmons? Is it Jeffrey Okudah? I've heard Derek Brown mentioned in that spot. Number 3 is where the draft starts officially.
68 viewers, man, in the chat room already. The anticipation is mounting, and guys, we are going to get real news. I promise you today, actual news that we can cherish and love on as football fans amidst the quarantine of life. Guys, we have been locked up in our homes. We have had no sports. We've had little ways of kind of disengaging from the world at times, and so the draft tonight provides that opportunity. Questions, though, that I have Is the draft going to come out and turn out well? Right now, the coverage is looking good on ESPN.
Yeah, right now it's looking pretty smooth. CK, how about you, man?
I mean, I think so.
Why can't they give these guys microphones? I watched the
I'm-
Panthers video today with Matt Rule, and they're zooming between Matt Rule and the new
Jake
reporter.
Delhomme
And why
Yeah, there
can't
are-
they give these guys a damn mic and some earbuds? Remember,
dude, all of
folks,
them are like the sound quality
earbuds.
sounds like they're like talking in a bathroom, dude. Like it just, they these aren't expensive microphones, right? Especially for an industry like that. It is interesting to think about.
I like these reporters holding their microphones like
I know.
reporters in their homes, dressed up,
I mean, this is
looking
This is
good.
something you've anticipated for at least a few weeks. Why have you not thought about the idea of? I know that they want to probably just be able to have the E for ESPN to advertise who they are, but I mean, we're watching ESPN. I guess if the simulcast is with ABC, maybe that's the justification. But I don't know.
So
Well, at
they're
least
just
they got
now
a mic.
starting to- They're just now starting to show some of the homes on ESPN. Tua, his family looks exactly how you would expect. Tua's in the
Oh yeah,
Tua's in the suit. They're all gathered around.
they got a pig cooking in the sand outside.
Hold on. When you say they're all, I wanted to send out a tweet earlier that said, "What's the over under on how many on X amount of players being with more than 10 people in their house?" So,
I would expect I would have more than 10 people at my house.
Joe Burrow literally surrounded by his parents, and that's
Yeah,
it.
it's
That's
his mom
it.
and dad.
You
That's
ain't
it.
even. How about this? Is that imagine the disappointment of being drafted number 1 and not being able to go out and party and get some trim afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do what every other number 1 draft pick has done in the history of football.
Well, normally they hop a plane, and the next day they're with their team. Like I remember whenever DJ Moore and McCaffrey were drafted, the very next morning they were at Panthers Stadium. So, I mean, it's a crazy time, man. But it'll be interesting to see how every player chooses to spend the draft and who's with them and how they react. It's definitely different.
This is pretty cool, man, watching these folks unbox these like packages from the NFL that have their phones and their microphone cameras included. This is going to be the one thing we don't. Did you see Tua though wearing the suit? I'm surprised. Are a lot of guys going to be dressed to the nines?
Probably not. I'm willing to say no. Tua's all class, dude. That's a Tua move if there ever was.
Is
one.
he all class? Are you sure about that?
100%.
You sure?
No one who
He don't,
ever
man, he didn't do too well on that test. I don't know how much class he went to.
Yeah, well, I didn't do well on my test, but I think I'm pretty fucking classy. So I don't know, man. I do know that everyone that's ever coached him, everyone that's ever been around him, says they love him. I know a lot of Panther fans want Tua to be the quarterback of the future. I know you're one of them. I mean, you can't say enough good things about the man himself. As a player, he's incredible. He's an accurate thrower of the football. He goes through his progressions incredibly well. It's just the injury concerns, man. If you're able to build an offensive line around him, he'll be fine. But if not, he has some legitimate concerns.
Well, I mean, Carolina could be a cool place for him to not have to push it right away. Do you think Tua starts this year if he goes to a Miami? I mean, he's got to, right?
Oh yeah, if he goes to Miami for sure.
Well, they have Fitzpatrick. Unless they want to, roll with Fitzmagic for another year and try and win some games, then just not rush him into it. I mean, you drafted your quarterback. You're not really rushing for anything. I think even the Chargers, they have Tyrod Taylor. So I mean, there's a good The only one that I'm putting money on to be a surefire starter is Joe Burrow. The rest of them, I could easily see a scenario where Tua, Herbert, and Love don't start next year.
All right, we've got our first guest of the show tonight, Gene Farrell. Is that did I pronounce it right? Farrell. And
yeah, you got it right.
All right, awesome. All right. Well, you could be like the beat master for Ralph. Let me ask you this, Gene. We brought you on the show because one of the things that you have done is meticulously outlined the Panthers meetings for, I want to say I've been watching you do it for 8 years now. It feels like that, close to it. How long? Tell us a little bit about what you do when it comes to following the Carolina Panthers in the NFL draft.
Normally what I do is I just follow visits, meetings, anything that the Panthers do in the pre-draft process as far as getting in contact with the players. But normally, I've been doing it since 2012, and normally what I do is I kind of watch the reports come out from the media, and then I kind of treat it like Rotten Tomatoes. That's kind of where I got the idea from. And Walter kind of led to the idea too, because Walter Football kind of started it all back. He was doing it back then too. But I got annoyed because I kept seeing reports come out later after the draft was over of meetings that didn't get reported or wasn't added to the list. And I'm like, well, this guy had an interview and said he met with us before the draft, but we'd had no clue. And it started drawing my interest. And normally what I would do is I made a site kind of like an aggregator, kind of like Rotten Tomatoes, how Rotten Tomatoes takes reviews of a movie and they put it all on there and kind of give you like a Rotten Tomatoes score. Well, then my site's similar to what like that, where I take all the sources coming from the media that I see and I post it on there. That way you can go on there and look at the bottom of the page, see where it came from, see the source, see where the news was being reported from. So it's not coming from me because I'm not a reporter. I'm not somebody that's going to give you information. I know some people that deals with the Panthers, but I don't share that information. It's not my job, and I don't get paid to do it. I just do it as a fan. I watch this stuff, it interests me, and then it's basically treated like an aggregator. I source all the information. That way you can see where I posted it, and I got the list there in kind of like order from position to position, so you can kind of see what prospects they talk to. But then you can scroll down to the bottom and see who reported it, so you can kind of see the validity of the reporting of the meeting.
Gene, I work for DraftTech.com, and in our most recent mock draft, I'm the analyst for the Panthers. We have to try and be accurate as to who we think the Panthers are going to pick. And for the past 2 years, I found your list incredibly useful. And I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was like a week ago on Twitter, I asked you if there were any, if the Panthers had met with Isaiah Simmons at all. Have you heard anything new around Isaiah Simmons? Because so far I've just heard him mention top 10 teams, but nothing specifically about the Panthers.
That's pretty much it. This year's been weird because following it, like normally when you would follow draft prospects and keep up with them, the meetings you'd be able to track them by either like local insiders from the school. And what they would do is somebody from the inside, maybe they've seen the private workout and they leaked it to one of the local beat reporters or one of the national reporters, and then they pass it along to the world on Twitter or somewhere or in an article. And then it's the same thing with visits at the stadium. Whenever players have their local visits or when they come to the stadium, there's going to be somebody see them come to the stadium. They may see them at the airport. They may see them walking into the stadium or into the offices of the coaches, and then that gets leaked out and we find out about it because people are physically seeing them. This year, it's kind of like this video call. It's in a private room. Nobody can have access to with the coaches and the GM, so nobody knows who they're meeting with, and it's easier for that information to be hidden this year. So what's happening is, even though it's not getting reported, there's a lot of meetings happening with players that's just not out there unless the players themselves reveal it in an interview. And luckily, is it Justin Morrow from DraftWire? He's picked up a lot of the slack this year in the meetings that we missed out on, because there for the first part of April we wouldn't get nothing, and then his interviews started just rolling out left and right. And then Aaron Wilson also picked up some. Those were two of the big sources that were picking up interviews and stuff this year. But mainly it was prospects revealing. And if you read some articles say prospect, he'd ask the question, and the prospect would say, I'm going to keep that private up to the draft. And there's nothing you can do about that. With Clemson in particular, I've not seen a lot of interviews this year with Clemson prospects. I've looked for them. And up till today, I was talking to C3 there on Twitter earlier today, because he asked me that question on Twitter earlier today. And turns out about noon today, when I wasn't home, Justin dropped an article on DraftWire I wasn't expecting today. It was mentioning the meeting with all the top 10 teams, but he doesn't mention who. He just says, I've met with most. And I can't really specify what was it, the Panthers. Maybe he didn't meet with the Panthers. I don't know. We just have to go off Ted.
Two questions for you is, number one is, why doesn't the NFL just make this information public to all? And in some ways treat it much like a kind of an injury report disclosure, because we know that's beneficial for the NFL to generate media, and that might not help individual teams if they're trying to backdoor into somebody else. But why is this information secretive in this day and age? And number two is, what's your favorite get of information that you've gotten? Because you've referenced these low level, like somebody in the airport, or, you know, this got essentially not my cousin works at Alabama, and we get that. What's your favorite tip you've run across?
I don't really have a favorite.
Oh, man, there's got to be
I always
one.
find it interesting. It's like there's I don't have, because I follow it so much. I like to see the tips. Like if there's the things I love, it's the stuff I can laugh at. It's like watching Norv sit over there and just gush over Will Greer, or Ron and Gettleman when they were there going to Christian's pro day, and just pretty much giving away, hey, we're taking Christian. Heck, we talked about like the posts where I was just ribbing you online about the post you made to, what was his name, CJ, the Denver.
Yeah, he does.
He's
from the footballguys.com stuff. His name is, what is it? It's Cecil Lammy.
Cecil, yeah, that's what it is. But like, that's kind of stuff I find interesting, because it's something I'm not going to laugh about later. It's like, oh, this guy's seen this. They gave it away months ago. And I love the dead giveaways. It's just like this year, because Herney was because when this pandemic hit, Herney was the only one out and about, and they given the coaches and the coaches. No, it was just the coaches. Scouts were out and about, but the coaches, the first week of the days off. I remember who reported it, but somebody had reported they took the first week off. They were already home. They hadn't went out to pro days yet. But Herney was out and about, so he had went to Oklahoma State, Auburn, and just watching Herney's pictures, Herney with Justin Herbert, and everybody freaking out because he's over Google Island, Justin Herbert, or he's at Derek Brown's Auburn pro day, and he's sitting there chit-chatting with Derek Brown. It's things like that that I find interesting, because I always like to watch and see if that actually becomes something later. And now we have this news about CeeDee Lamb that's being reported by Josh Klein from the Riot Report, and then also corroborated with Jonathan Jones, who also says he heard this from CBS. And, you know, Jonathan Jones used to do the Observer and SI, and they covered the Panthers as insiders with the Panthers. So I find it interesting that Marty Herney was at Oklahoma's pro day, and all this talk about us trading down and maybe CeeDee Lamb being a target, even though he hasn't been mentioned through this whole process. But it would make sense. That would explain why Marty might have been at Oklahoma's pro day. I got off topic there, but what was the first part of that question?
The other question is, why does the NFL keep this? Why are they keeping this secretive and it not be public? If they have a limited amount of visits,
it's a lot of mind games. It's a lot of mind. Well, you see, like it's a lot of mind games, I would think. A lot of games playing up to the draft. It's just like anything else. There's a lot of smoke screens. They may bring a guy just to reevaluate him and see, maybe he has character issues. Because a lot of the guys they bring in, they're trying to get to know better. They're putting them on the board, letting them show some plays, talking them through plays, asking them about their college days. They may have some red flags they want to go through with them. But I think it's a lot of just games. You don't know who they're really showing. But the bad thing with the Panthers, the last since Hurney left and Gettleman took over and Hurdy's return, they've been really telling with who they're going to take in the first round for the last 4 or 5 years, and they give it away either through the draft process somehow, just like just sitting there and spending a lot of time getting reported by. Meeting with somebody, or like we said earlier, things I find funny, like them just sitting there and just lovey-dovey looking over a prospect at a pro day or something.
All right, shout out to Rock Lee he says, Hawks fan, but love your stream. Cody's knows his stuff. Floyd Wild 315, thank you for your support of the C3 Panthers podcast. We'd love for you to call into the show. The number's 252-228-5098. So you said they've been telling. Who they picking?
If you want to go by the way, because we didn't get that much this year as far as like the normal contacts we would have, like, so you would see them go to the pro day, you might see the coaches hanging around a player, and the GM. The only thing we've had this year to go off of is Hurney, and we only had 4 pro days that he went to. So of those 4, we seen him kind of interacting with 2 prospects, and it was Justin Herbert and Derek Brown. And Brown's been the hot name, even in the media, leading up to the draft at number 7. If we stay at 7, I'm still personally hoping we trade back and gain some picks for next year and this year, especially hopefully maybe we can get a first rounder if we trade back into the teens next year or early 20s. But there's a lot of prospects ranging from the early part of the draft they've met with and the back part. You've heard rumors from CeeDee Lamb to C.J. Harrison from Florida. You've also heard the rumors with Derek Brown, Isaiah Simmons, Okudah, and all those guys. But it just matters where they're going to pick at. I mean, I don't know if you watched the video that the Panthers dropped today, but Matt Rule, and he was talking about how mattering if they trade back in the draft. He even mentioned trading back in the draft or staying where they are. So it just matters.
He did. Where they pick at he looked draft. Exhausted in that video, number 1. Number 2, I don't know how they don't have earbuds and microphones for these cats at this place, and it's so like you hearing echoes in the background and stuff. And number 3, he did say exactly that, but he just really seemed very malleable at the point. Go ahead, Cody, jump in there.
Yeah, I mean, so you mentioned kind of the top players, that are basically the top 10 players. You've mentioned, Jeffrey Okudah, Isaiah Simmons, but there hasn't really been anything, as you already said, that kind of links us directly to them. What do you think the chances are that we do take either one of those 2 players, either it be Simmons or Okudah? And then I'm going to throw a wild card at you. I know the Panthers have done a lot of due diligence on Javon Kinlaw. Is there any possible scenario where Javon Kinlaw could be the pick at number 7?
Well, see, yeah, I don't know about 7. I think at 7 you're looking at about 3 or 4. Probably. I'm not a mock draft person. I'm not big into mock drafts because I know they're fun, and I just like the information, like who they're talking to, and that way you can lead up to the draft. You can kind of get an idea of who they might be looking at, and you see how many players they've looked at one position. Usually wide receiver leads our contact list most years, but the 7 at number 7, I would think you're going to look at Brown, Okudah if he falls, and the hot name, and I hope they don't pick him there. If they're going to pick him, I hope they trade back, is C.J. Harrison, and I really don't like him. I do not like him at 7. If that's Cecil Leamy's report's correct, then I hope it's not 7. I hope they try to get more picks.
I like him as a player,
but
he really is a good press man corner. He gave Jamar Chase all he could handle when he played LSU. He has a lot of missed tackles. I wouldn't mind if we picked him, just not at 7. I think if you're picking in the top 10, you're trying to get a player that you can see wearing a Hall of Fame jacket one day. And I don't know if CJ Henderson is that. Now, if we wanted to trade back into the teens and pick up CJ Henderson, then that's more of a value pick, and you get some picks later on down the road. I would accept any deal where the Panthers land a first-round pick for next year, because I don't know that I believe it. I don't know that the Panthers believe it. I don't think that anyone really has a lot of faith right now that you're going to build the team around Teddy Bridgewater for the next, I don't know how many years. I have to think that whether it's this year or next year, they're in the market for a quarterback at some point in time.
Has there been any news? So has there been any news with meetings with Tua?
No. No, I mean the only quarterbacks, top-rated quarterbacks we've heard anything about this, and like I said, you got to take everything this draft season with a grain of salt. I told whoever it was we were talking to in the Twitter conversation earlier, like even in normal draft seasons, not 100% of the players are being reported. My list is based off who the media gets their little greasy hands on, report them out, and then I just share it with everybody else. So even if they aren't reported, you still have hope that they met with him. The Panthers have been really telling about who they're going to who they're going to take in their picks in the first round the last few years, but this year is a lot different. And just because they haven't been reported talking to Tua doesn't mean they haven't. Just like today, I mean, we didn't know anything about Simmons until earlier today, and we still don't know if he actually talked with the Panthers or not.
All right, the draft is starting to get underway. I saw Roger Goodell doing his COVID stuff. I thought it started at 8. When do you think the first pick is going to go out, Cody?
I really don't know what time it's going to start.
I thought it was supposed to be, maybe 8:30ish?
I mean, on ESPN, they're just showing Bengals fans that they have. I don't know. I imagine any minute here we're going to have the first pick underway.
All right.
Yeah, it's probably about.
They're showing the Bengals GM on ESPN as we speak.
All right, well, let's go ahead and slip in our first cat call of the night. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's see what you guys got to say.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey, this is Anthony Rochelle. I hope this is draft day today, and hope we get Isaiah Simmons. Yeah, I'm just excited. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. God bless you guys. Go Panthers. Keep pounding.
Right on. Anthony Rochelle echoing a lot of sentiments when it comes to Panther fans wanting to take Isaiah Simmons. And the question, Cody, is who's going to boo Roger Goodell right now?
You just missed it. He just had a screen behind him with a bunch of fans that were booing him. And apparently they're doing like a...
Oh, wait. I'm so far behind. Look, this is how far behind I am of your stream. I'm seeing it right now. Why? Even, look, that's homeboy from the Giants.
Strahan's in the top right.
All right, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. We should know they should get their pick in faster than anybody on the planet. They've had more than enough time and need. There's no possible case where it can't be Joe Burrow, is it?
No, this is Joe Burrow. I mean, he's from Ohio. He's from Athens, Ohio. He played for the LSU Tigers. The LSU Tigers, a Bengal Tiger, to the Bengals. I mean, you couldn't write a better scenario for the number one pick. It would be insane if it was not Joe Burrow right now.
The reports say that Joe Burrow has already been informed that he's the number one pick.
I'm sure. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go eat, but cool. Yeah,
All
Joe
right.
Burrow is definitely number one.
I mean, he was, to put it into perspective, he was sitting on his couch in an Ohio shirt. So
29 seasons without a playoff victory. Is that right?
yeah, dude.
Good God. I thought we had a painful couple of years. All right, Joe. Make the pick. Cody, remember, Cody's going to call it out. His stream is like 40 seconds ahead of everybody's.
What's your countdown timer at, Cody?
I was muted, sorry. Right now I'm at 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, you're a full 31
seconds
seconds.
ahead.
Yeah, you're 31 seconds ahead of us.
Oh my gosh.
This
I mean,
is
I
what
don't
the
understand.
NFL GMs are dealing with. What if, like, you're the one GM that's streaming it on Hulu like I am?
Don't you get penalized if you don't get your pick in time?
Nah, I think they
You don't get- you
lifted
lose
those
your pick.
rules this year
Oh, yeah.
in case of technical difficulty.
Okay. Like congestion at the time clock. I got you.
So I guess I'm going to stay off of Twitter because Twitter always seems to have the pick before everyone else. But I don't know if that'll be the case this year.
Yeah.
I kinda
I'm
think
not sure.
so.
So let me ask this. So as far as everything is concerned, would you guys expect this clock to get much lower than where it's at now?
You mean as in like waiting to put the pick in?
Yeah, like do you guys do they know who they're picking? Do they still do their due diligence and let teams call them asking for
They
a
did
trade
last
and-
year. Oh my God, they did last year. We had to wait and wait and wait. You know,
I mean, I think you'd be dumb not to, though, right? Like, you have the time.
nah,
If
if
you know
you're
he's
going to
pick, if somebody
trade, you
does it
should have
off, you
already
can,
done
you
the
know?
trade now. Oh, by the way, we're live on Facebook too tonight. How about that? First time in a while.
What's up, Facebook?
The one
Those 12 people
it's like
watching in Facebook.
I know but here's the thing is I don't ever go on Facebook. What's so bad about our podcast and the show is that I really don't tune it to what people want, but to what I want. Like I only like to get on Twitter. I hate Facebook. I like YouTube. I do that. But so we're back on Facebook. A lot of people excited there for the draft. The Cincinnati Bengals could really use this pick. Tell me, what do you guys think that Joe Burrow would be facing when he gets to Cincinnati? You do have a division that is, man, he's got to deal with the Ravens. He's got to deal with the Steelers. Is it going to be an easy road for Joe Burrow in the NFL?
So I actually feel a certain way about this, but let's do some due diligence first. First off, Michael Reap with the $10 in the chat. Thank you so much. And Miss Sarah Taylor with the $14.99
Oh, gosh.
pound sign draft smart.
People are feeling good tonight.
The girl.
We need to send that to Marty Hernia that Sarah said draft smart. I agree with you, Sarah, and thank you for your patience.
I do want to remind this. Tonight's show is sponsored by Carolina Don'tScrewItUp.org.
Oh, it's going to be hard to screw it up tonight. They still can.
Well, dude, you never know. I mean, hey, the Bengals drafted John Ross in the first.
Yeah, the Bears moved up for Mitch Trubisky.
Yuck.
Like, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a big surprise. You know,
roast.
And left Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes on the board.
Mm-hmm. Just sitting there. Yep.
Nice. Anthony Rochelle in the live stream on Facebook. Good to see you. Hey, cover me for a few minutes, guys, all right?
All right.
Sure. T-Money should be joining us in a minute.
No.
Yeah. No, so here's my question. I mean, at this point in time, Cody, I mean, it's clear that they're picking Burrow, right?
Yeah, I cannot imagine another scenario where someone else is picked right here.
And it seems like
number
everybody seems to have that same consensus. I mean, there is no other players being discussed other than Burrow right now about his capabilities and whatnot.
I mean,
What is the reason in your mind that they're letting this thing drag down to the last minute?
I feel like they do this every year.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how much of it is, a byproduct of this year and being at home, or I don't know. But I feel like every year an inordinate amount of time passes before they have the pick in. It's showing the general manager right now, and it does not look too concerned or too rushed.
Yeah.
I've seen Zach Taylor, I believe, the coach. He doesn't look too rushed or concerned. So,
they're like everybody's just literally just on their phones, just texting away or whatnot. So
doing what we're doing right now.
It's also a TV show. The longer they can make the draft go, the more views are going to have on ESPN for the show. So, I mean,
it's going to be a long night, though. We're at 3 minutes and 15 seconds left.
That's why I hope oh, yeah, you are like 30 seconds ahead of us. That's crazy. You're not going to spoil the picks, are you?
I think so.
Oh, no. Just don't spoil the Panthers pick.
I'm gonna. Tony told me to call him out as I see him. I'll let y'all decide. If y'all don't want me to, I won't.
No, do it definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of people in the chat who are on that same schedule, and we already have a delay.
There are people that are gonna know before I know.
Yeah, right. And so we're gonna have at least like a little 10, 15 second delay anyway. So
Okay.
All right, the pick is in.
All right, that means that they didn't trade it away, right?
It's not traded. Cincinnati Bengals.
Joe Burrow.
They're showing this Heisman speech right now.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone knows it's Joe Burrow. This has been known forever that Joe Burrow was going to be the number one pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, when you have the kind of season that Joe Burrow had at LSU, you deserve it, man. I understand a lot of people are wondering, is it going to be a one-year wonder? And that's legitimate. He hasn't done it outside of 1 year. But when you judge the film alone and what he was able to do under pressure, what he was able to do on the move, how it goes through his progressions, how he reads the field, Joe Burrow deserves to be the number one pick in the draft. Hands down. Not close.
Okay, I'll give you the fact that I feel like he has earned that spot, but it just feels like when you look at it like that, you're saying, look at the tape. And when you look at the tape, there's more tape of him not being a number one pick than there is of him being a number one pick. You know?
He also got hurt at Ohio State. Dwayne Haskins was a number one pick. There was a lot that goes into it. But I understand the concerns. All right, here we go.
Are we already on number 2, Washington? Yeah, I'm still behind.
The Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, number 1.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me!
Whoa!
Surprise.
All right.
They didn't send him a jersey in his family yesterday, letting him know they were going to pick or anything.
Yeah, I think he's holding the hat. Like when I'm watching before the pick actually even gets hit, I think I see him holding the Bengals hat in his hand. So.
Oh yeah. I see the orange NFL logo on the back of it.
Yep.
All right, Washington is on the clock.
So Joe Burrow is the selection.
Joe Burrow is the number one
selection.
in the 2020 NFL draft.
I wanted to ask Gene, since it's first time on the show. We're here every Tuesday night bringing in this podcast, and sometimes it's an echo chamber of our own opinions. What do you think about Marty Hurney?
Don't take too long.
Not a fan. Not a fan. It's kind of hard to talk about him because he's made some decent selections. But then there's that back half of the draft that everybody talks about that he just falls off. But you can also argue, like a lot of people want to argue with the whole Gettleman-Hurney debate whenever Gettleman came in and took over, and we ended up going to the Super Bowl a couple years later, and there were a lot of people say, oh, well, those were Hurney's players that took us to the Super Bowl. But then Gettleman added onto that roster and then also helped to build a roster that Ron Rivera and can legitimately carry the offense to the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's really hard to tell because the records for the players and stuff, and the just sheer amount of players that's come through and just washed out, the Dwayne Jarrett's, and so many times he tried to find wide receivers to go with Steve and just never could.
It's his
and
white whale.
End up bringing
receiver
he had to bring
is
Moose
his
and
white
Muhammad
whale.
back from Chicago.
Yeah, it's his white whale. Maherney has done some decent things. He's not as bad as some people want to make him out to be. But he's also not done it consistently. It's really hard to draft consistently. And at one point, we thought that Dave Gettleman was a guru. And it turns out he has just as bad luck as anybody when it comes to the draft. The Panthers have not had any real draft pick stick since the Marty Herney era. I guess you could say potentially the first year of Dave Gettleman's draft produced guys that stayed on the team for a while. KK Short still being there. Trey Turner just left to go to the Chargers. So it is a mixed bag with Herney. I do feel like his performance since he's come back has been pretty strong, though.
He looks thrilled. Oh, my gosh.
People in the chat room are talking about how Burrow – Ben S. says Burrow has Trump hands. J-Dub says Marty is poo. And they're talking – and Shaked says Joe doesn't look happy to be going to the Bengals.
And listen, I want to jump on that too. The pick is in for Washington, by the way. But I do want to say real quick, I do give a kudos to Joe Burrow. He's been training with Jordan Palmer, and what was the other? Carson Palmer was his brother, and Palmer did nothing but shit all over the Bengals and said, if I was Joe Burrow, I wouldn't go there. But kudos to him, man. Joe Burrow has the mindset that I want to turn around a bottom feeder NFL team, and if you believe that you're the best, then that's the mindset that you should have. You shouldn't tell the number one team, nah, trade it, I'm going to go somewhere else. I mean, if you believe that you're the shit, go prove it and do what LeBron did for the Cavaliers, what Michael Jordan did for the Bulls. Mm-hmm. I know that's basketball, but if you're the man, go fucking be the man. And that's what he's trying to do. So kudos to him.
Moneybags did point out this, Galden and Greer. Hey, it turns out he can't draft people that have that play wide receiver or their names that start with G other than Jordan Gross. Ever since Jordan Gross, he put G's out of the alphabet here. So you're right, Mr. Froth. Thank you for this the support of this to the C3 Panthers podcast. He says, I'd love to get Simmons. Thanks for what y'all do. Keep pounding. We're here every Tuesday night, guys. Go ahead and call into the Cat Calls line. The number's 252-228-5098. Who do you want the Panthers to draft? What do you expect to happen? We got another call in the hole. I'm going to go ahead and play it as we wait for the Redskins to select Chase Young.
I think it's going to happen.
If this isn't Chase Young.
What's up, C3? This is Carl D.
What's up, Carl?
Going on? Draft night, huh? Yeah. If I would have, wish I would have asked off, I could have joined the show.
You're on the show right now,
Carl. What's going on, Cody?
What's up?
I would have thought that you'd be wearing your Simmons jersey, but you shot me. You got on the Panthers shirt. I would have thought you would have came tonight all decked out in your Clemson colors with Simmons on there.
I'll wear my Trevor Lawrence jersey when it's time to draft.
Since you love Herbert so much, I thought you would have had the Justin Herbert jersey.
They're coming after you on the Herbert.
One of the two, since them seem to be the two that you love the most. Which I don't understand about the Herbert part, because Herbert sucks. But anyway, that's not neither here or there. So you guys, y'all ready for this pick?
Hell yeah, we're ready.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you are. So Tony, who's the man that you want, Tony?
I want Tua.
That you want, not popular demand. Who is the player, Tony, that you would love for the Panthers to draft? We already know who it is for Cody. We already know Cody's top two. So we ain't asking Cody. I want to know the other people that's on the panel, even the special guest guy. Our special guest. I don't know his name because I came into the chat room late. But even him, sir, who is the player that you love for the Panthers to take at number 7 if they keep the pick? Because I'm hearing a lot of news of chatter about them trading back down in the draft. But if they keep 7, who will be the player that you would choose as well? So,
Chase Young
you
is
gotta
talking to
let me
Redskins
know.
right now.
All right.
Yep.
It looks like Chase Young is going to be the selection for the Washington Redskins, and I would say this is that the person I want is Tua. I can't pronounce your last name Lagavalola, and the reason I want Tua is because I love Cam. Love Cam Newton, and I need something that helps shine through the shade of not having Cam, and I think that Tua could do that for us. The other thing that is to me is I've also just believed that Tua was completely out of our reach, so I've not tried to believe that, get too much excited about it.
Cody, you got the pick?
The Washington Redskins select Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State.
All right.
So,
gentlemen, there's Ron.
Gentlemen, the draft is underway. We knew what number 1 was going to be. We knew what number 2 was going to be. Right now, Detroit's on the clock. Right here, you're looking at, hey, let's be real. This could be the first landing spot for both of the players that Panther fans want the most, Isaiah Simmons or Jeffrey Okudah. We need the next 2 teams to pass on both of those players because 5 and 6 both need a quarterback. So, we'll see, man. We need the Lions to go Derek Brown. That's what we're hoping for.
If you had your pick of the litter, Gene, don't think about the visits, don't think about anything. Who is the player you would wish that could be wearing a Panthers jersey tonight by the end of the night?
Okudah. I wouldn't mind. It's the top corner in the draft. I'd really, if we're going to stay at 7 and he fell, then he'd be the ideal pick for us. I still have questions about Tua's injury status. I know everybody loves Tua, and I like Tua too. And if they'd have been able to get clear all his medicals, I'd be for it. But then again, with everything leading up to the draft and how I don't think this is by signing Teddy Bridgewater, this is a year they're looking to get the next franchise quarterback. Maybe that's next year, and they go after one of the top 2 out of next year draft because we're in a division with Brady, Breeze, and Ryan, and I think we're just going to get pretty beat down this year, and I think we'll be up in the top end of the draft again next year. So Okudah, start working on that back end of that defense, putting back air with Jackson, and just start building on that defense and start filling some of those holes in.
Cody, you know what Okudah means for defensive coordinators is no worries about that other side of the field. Okudah Matata. Yeah. You know what that means? No worries, because that man's locked down half of the field.
Your dad was on point tonight. I appreciate it.
The good news about the rest of this draft is all cards are off the table as to what can happen from this point.
Yeah.
Did you say my dad jokes?
Yeah, man, that's a good dad joke.
Oh gosh,
you're talking about
kind of a good dad joke, man.
And hey, take a compliment. I said it was a good one.
I am a dad. I am a dad and a joker. I walked into my son does not like football at all, and I just like to mess with him. And I walked into his room. I was like, "You want to come watch the draft with us?" And he was like, "What's that?" A and B. I said it's when we pick players, and he goes, "So you want me to watch when we pick players for football team?" He's like, "I'm good. I'm gonna be in here playing Roblox."
All right, so the Lions have made their pick.
Yeah,
so they did not trade it.
There has been no trade.
No trades. All of it's smoke.
We're moments away from
this tells us a lot. What if they took Tua?
Dude, I'm sitting here thinking, what if that's a possibility at this point?
Well, they don't need a quarterback though, right?
Well, the thing is that again, Tua, can you expect him to start this year?
Yeah, that's true.
And Stafford has not been the answer, truly.
Yeah, unless he has an elite wide receiver, he has not been able to do much with that team. I mean,
and it might not be his fault, but they just haven't gotten it done in a decade.
Right. I mean, most quarterbacks though can't get it done without an elite wide receiver. Think about it. I mean, even the great quarterbacks, Brett Favre and Tom Brady, have an elite wide receiver at some point in time.
At some point, but I mean, that's not. They at least have success without them. Cam Newton, in his MVP season, didn't have an elite wide receiver. Tom Brady, for the majority of his career, didn't have an elite wide receiver.
See, I got to argue that. I think that Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, Randy Moss,
Julian Edelman and Wes Welker are slot receivers.
Yeah, but
Randy Moss was there for 1 year.
They're probably Hall of Fame. Well, I don't know about Wes Welker, but maybe Julian Edelman's Hall of Famer.
All right. With the third pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, Detroit Lions select Jeffrey Okudah.
All right.
Oh, no.
Tua still there. Okay. All right, so now the Giants go. The Giants, here has been my theory or a possibility, is I believe that Dave Gettleman might be interested in taking Isaiah Simmons here. And the reason I think this is, I mean, it's all anecdotal stuff, but Dave Gettleman, first he played on a team where a defense was built around Luke Kuechly. So having a kind of transcendental player in the house, when it comes to that, is important to him. But I also know that when he talked about Saquon, he talked about just special players out there. So you got to wonder if he's salivating at a guy like Isaiah Simmons or if they go Tristan Wirfs. All right, Greg, your boy's up in the house.
Yeah, sorry. Travis, my homeboy, my co-host from my other show, my Canadian friend and a Giants fan, wanted to come on tonight and talk about some Giants on the clock. So, Travis, what's up, man?
Not much, boys. Just watching the draft and really, really scared Gettleman's going to screw the pooch, as they say. I'm hoping it's Simmons. I'm really hoping it's Simmons. But something tells me that when the chips are down, he's going to take an offensive tackle like Tristan Wirfs.
But he's never done that when he was with the Panthers, so that might be not the worst thing ever.
Well, our defense was ranked 25th last year, and quite frankly, it was the shits. It was terrible.
He's probably going to take Derek Brown.
Wouldn't surprise me, or he'll trade down and make me have to watch even longer in anticipation for an offensive tackle. He's good with the first round, but after that, he doesn't get many gems. I think his first one in a while was Slayton last year. Him and Danny Dimes had some chemistry. He had no chemistry with Eli, but he had a lot of chemistry with Danny Dimes. So
Travis, before the pick jumps in real quick right here, why Isaiah Simmons? You have Saquon Barkley. You just okay. Now I know I'm a huge Isaiah Simmons fan. I'm a Clemson fan. So okay, you're not gonna tell me about Isaiah. I know he's incredible, but the reason I ask is you just drafted a quarterback. You have Saquon Barkley, who is the most athletic running back in the NFL. Why not draft a player to make their life easier?
Because you can get those players in free agency or trade a little bit easier than finding a generational talent like Simmons. I'm a big fan of drafting the best available player, regardless of position, except for quarterbacks, because I feel like almost any a top 10, top 15 quarterback can win a Super Bowl, but you need really top end talent to surround them with.
I like it, and that goes to my point of Dave Gettleman when he talked about Saquon, as he said, this guy's like, there's not many Barry Sanders that come along. And Cody, the way you gush over Isaiah Simmons, obviously there's not a lot of Isaiah Simmons that come along.
There really isn't. I mean, he moves well by cornerback standards. He's built well by linebacker standards. I mean, there isn't anything that you could ask him to do that he won't be able to do. Now, does he need a little bit of polish? because he hasn't spent time honing in on all the details and the intricacies on every position? Sure. But that doesn't matter, man. They're going to be able to put him anywhere on the football field, and the opposing offenses are going to have to try and adjust to whatever you're doing based on wherever he is on the field.
They're getting an offensive tackle. They're got to get an offensive tackle. But
nightmare. He has the potential to be a once-in-a-lifetime player, but you have to have a coach who knows how to deploy him.
Do you think
try and stamp him at one position, that might not be the best thing for him to do. So
do you think that if Dave Gettleman was considering Isaiah Simmons, that Shaq Thompson might give him cold feet?
Not really, because there's a big difference.
Shaq was kind of a tweener and a positionless player.
But the level at which they did those things was
much different.
Pretty night and day.
Yeah, I don't think you can compare Shaq Thompson and Isaiah Simmons in college. Like they both, like you said, they both had different positions, kind of that jackknife player. But Simmons is far and beyond where Shaq Thompson was in talent level, I believe.
All right. So, Travis, let's go to you first. I love, big fan of your podcast, the Super Civil Servants podcast. And I am a fan of a movie on Netflix right now, an indie film called Code 8. Did you like it?
Very good, sir. Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm super excited about the TV show that they're getting off the ground. I'm hoping that it becomes more. I just got to say, a little off topic, but if we don't draft Simmons, I'm going to forget that this draft ever happened.
Yeah!
Just to let you guys know.
My man.
That's what living in Canada does for you.
Yes, it does. It helps you forget just a little tiny bit more.
Hey!
But no, Tony, I really enjoyed it, and it was all done by crowdfunding, so hopefully this might implore other artists to do the same, because Hollywood's kind of like a little pick and choosy in what they do, and it wouldn't have got made if this wasn't done the way that it was. So
did you find it a little tropish though?
Oh yeah, but it was made about 6 or 7 years ago on a budget of $2.5 million. I'm pretty sure.
Wow,
so
they did a good job with that.
Like the effects, all that stuff was done. It was mostly the Arrow crew from the Arrow TV show that helped out a lot with that. So I think he kind of got a lot of free work from people, but I did enjoy the movie, especially for what it was.
Cody, go ahead and tell them what I'm becoming. You just witnessed more and more transition into nerdland for Tony Dunn.
Tony's trying to do everything in his power to not be labeled a nerd, which I don't know why, dude. Nerds rule the world. We're not the people being stuffed in lockers anymore. We're the ones running Hollywood and shit. So, yeah, Tony's trying to push it off, but he's a nerd.
All right.
Different.
The Giants are on the clock. How much time?
All right, the pick is in.
Oh,
so
thank God.
As soon as they start to say it, I'm just going to announce it. I don't know if...
I'm just glad they haven't traded down. That's all.
No, there's still a minute left, or 45 seconds left.
I'm not even looking at the YouTube chat. I don't.
Yeah, I can't look at the YouTube chat. I got a screencast to my TV. So, all right, here we go. T-Bone.
Don't break my heart, Cody. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart, Cody. Don't break my heart.
Hey, man, it's either your heart's gonna be broken or mine.
I know.
Derek Brown.
Yours or mine. It's gonna be one of us, man.
Come on, Hog Molly.
But we both have the same idea on how to get over it, though.
Oh yeah.
Leave Simmons on the board.
Hey, T-Money in the house. What's up, T-Money?
What's up, fellas?
Oh man.
So
waiting to see what the Giants do here.
We will see. All right. I'm going to ask T-Money to think about this. I'm in a conversation on Twitter right now, and I said that drafting wide receivers was Marty Herney's white whale, and this guy is defending Marty Herney, saying he got Steve Smith in the third and DJ Moore, and he hasn't really drafted but 10 wide receivers in history.
So 2 out of 10.
What do you think T Money about his record with wide receivers?
He took a lot of bad ones out of USC, wasn't it him? Dwayne Jarrett. And,
Kerry Colbert. Kerry Colbert was all right. He was just like undersized. Like he was just he's just like a third receiver.
Yeah. So he took some bad ones, but
the Armani Edwards trade up was the big problem, I think.
And I hate they didn't give him a fair shot. I still say to this day, if Armani would have got to play quarterback, he would have had a good year. Anybody who's ever seen Appalachian when Armani was at?
Everybody hold up. I'm about to bring out the pick.
Drop it.
Dave Gettleman.
He's going to surprise everybody.
I know, you don't know.
He took Daniel Jones at 6.
Tua Tagovailoa.
The 4th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Andrew Thomas, left tackle.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and light that up, brother.
Travis, yeah.
All right. Let's talk Travis off the ledge here. Don't be upset by this, Travis, because we witnessed Dave Gettleman be the head of our squad for 5 years, where he told us the answer was on the roster. He told us that Byron Bell could play left tackle because he was left-handed. He is the one that paid Matt Khalil, and also, if you remember, he paid Matt Soldier a ton of money. Maybe he's learning his lesson here. Travis, I know it's not it's hard to get excited about an offensive tackle, but if he's there for 10 years, it's a good thing.
It is, yes, but our defense is still absolutely terrible, and it's not really going to look like it's going to improve this year. So clearly we're not going for the playoffs this year. There's no thought of that, even though our division is pretty, like 8-8 usually gets you in. Mm-hmm. I'm just so disappointed right now.
I don't know if it's something to be disappointed. I think if your offense can do enough to keep the defense off the field, then I think at that point, because I mean, you have a generational running back as well with Saquon Barkley, who is going to be able to keep the clock running. You're going to really, honestly, with a improved offensive line, you're going to actually see what you have with Daniel Jones, right?
And also, if I may jump in, Travis, I work for DraftTech.com. Andrew Thomas was my number 1 offensive tackle.
I had him written down as well, yeah.
The dude had got better every year. He played right tackle as a freshman, then 2 years as a left tackle. I mean, the dude went up against the best SEC talent and was lights out the entire time he was there at Georgia. His pass sets are incredible. Hand placement is good. I mean, for the investment that you've made at quarterback and running back, I mean, Andrew Thomas is a great pick to have. So I know it's not Isaiah, but it's still a pretty damn good pick if you're asking me.
Shout out to Nathan.
Your eye while you say that.
Shout out to Nathan Siebens on Twitter. He's watching from Oregon right now. We appreciate your support of the podcast and keep pounding Panther Nation. Cody, as Andrew Thomas, who has been a name that has gone kind of dark when it comes to that offensive lineman group because of a Mekhi Becton, a Tristan Riffs, what do you think all of a sudden does this spark off the run on offensive tackles here?
Well, hey, everyone was saying Miami was going to trade up for one, and they're on the clock right now. But in my mind, this is Tua. I mean, everyone's been saying the Dolphins are tanking for Tua. That's been the storyline for the over a year now. And hey, this is the same organization that passed on Drew Brees because of health concerns. Are they going to make the same mistake twice in a row? I mean, I don't know. I think if you're Miami, I'm drafting Tua. But all the reports say that they love Justin Herbert, so I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I legitimately think 2 quarterbacks are coming off the board at 5 and 6.
So, and that means that
I think so too.
So here's the thing: there's only 2 more picks before Panthers, and that leaves 3 players a lot of people would consider 7, and that is Tua. You have Herbert, and then Isaiah Simmons. Mm-hmm. So there is a chance that a lot of people are going to be happy about whatever pick we get.
Yeah, still sitting here watching his
Simmons, Brown, or Kinlaw.
Yeah, he was getting drafted next. He's on TV right now for the Miami. There's no way they have him on the television. He's not getting drafted.
We heard a lot about the Dolphins doing crazy due diligence about Tua, right? So really, is that they would be, but we have continued to hear that maybe they could pick Herbert instead. That would shake things up because then the Chargers
they just put that out there.
You think so?
They just put that out there. Their fan base and their team has. Remember, they were planning on tanking for Tua before the beginning of last year.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years since they watched the national championship game. They've been tanking since he beat Georgia.
Yeah, so I think Tua's gonna come off, and then Herbert's gonna go to the Chargers because he's a West Coast dude.
Pick in.
So the
this
pick
was
is
interesting because they if they take an offensive lineman here, they have enough picks to possibly make it interesting with our pick at 7 if they wanted to try to trade back up. I mean,
don't you think it's risky to do that?
Sure
Shouldn't they do it opposite? Is pick the quarterback and then trade?
Either or.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's interesting. That's what makes 7 interesting right now, because we can either go with Simmons, the rumored Henderson, or if they want to trade back and Miami's loaded, they want to come back up for that line.
If Isaiah Simmons is on the board and they take C.J. Henderson,
are you going to lose it
every game next year?
All right, T Money.
Believe me, a lot of people don't want Henderson at 7.
T Money, you always get on me for being over emotional. It sounds like you got some feels about Isaiah Simmons.
I do, right? But even more so than I love Isaiah Simmons, I hate C.J. Henderson at 7.
Why? Tell us why. Tell us why.
I agree.
I'm not taking a guy at 7 if you tell me, well, last year wasn't his best year. Really, you got to look at his tape the year before. Well, then really he should have came out the year before.
Yep.
He shouldn't have went back to school then.
All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. Here's the pick. With the 5th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa.
Boo!
Tua for Carolina. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have no skin in the game left.
Carolina.
All right, the Panthers are 2 picks away, boys. 2 picks away.
It gives me just enough time. I'll be right back.
Chargers don't surprise us, bro. Take Herbert.
So I think that, again, if I'm GM of the Chargers, I like the idea of picking Simmons, pairing him with Derwin James, getting that defensive front rolling, and going and getting Cam Newton and winning the damn Super Bowl. That is, in a weak AFC, a real possibility to do. But right now, the draft has been par for the mock drafts. It is just going as planned at this point. Yeah. Will the Chargers shake it up, or will they go quarterback?
Surprised other people. I think Gettleman surprised other people, but he didn't surprise us.
You know what I could see happening right here? I could see the Browns jumping ahead of Carolina because they probably suspect we'll take Isaiah Simmons, and then trying to trade with the Chargers because I think the Chargers know that Carolina's probably not going to go after Herbert.
Wow.
So, and the Browns are what, at 10?
That's risky. Yeah, still risky though, because I mean, that would allow another team to jump in front of the Chargers for a lot less to be further back. And you don't know what Belichick's thinking because there was a lot of reports that Tua fell past 10 that Belichick would go after Tua. I don't know. The 10
I just know
still there.
I know
around 10. It may not cost as much for somebody to get up to 9 or somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. I know that there's a lot of Browns fans. One of my buddies actually was calling me the other day. He said he expects to trade with Carolina to come up and pick Isaiah Simmons. and us trade back. But I told him I'm not entirely sure that we'll do that, but I would like to see us trade back just for a little more capital. But we'll see. I'm hoping for Isaiah Simmons at the same time, though.
I think people are scared of the Patriots unnecessarily because of their reputation. They do not have the picks and the capital that they used to have each year. If you remember, like, it would always be that they were able to trade like a 32nd pick for next year's first. So they'd be just racking up stuff. That is not what the Patriots have done in the last couple of years. I don't even know. Do they have a first round pick? Is it late? The Saints pick is late. We kind of think that is, as some of the teams that we expect every year to do something really don't have a lot to offer this year.
The Patriots
I had
have
this
like
retweeted about the Patriots.
Yeah, 2 years or something.
What's that, Gene?
I said I had that retweeted all the Patriots picks because they do have, like he was saying, they do have quite a few picks. I mean, they might only have one first rounder, but they got a couple of thirds, a couple of fourths, a couple of fifths. I mean, they're loaded.
Yeah, one of my friends is a Dolphins fan, and he was talking about that. They almost have as many picks as the Dolphins over the next couple of years.
They do? Gosh.
Yeah.
Yep,
because they always trade out of rounds.
I know. I thought that had been something of the past more so. I feel like I have not heard them accumulating a ton. They did get a fourth for Gronk.
I don't know. I didn't fact check him, but he keeps up, because that's division.
Right.
And he was like, they have like a couple picks less than us over the next couple years.
And Nova Black was going to join us tonight, but he said his Google account and phone are acting up, so he told me to tell everybody what's up and send love to everybody on the C3 podcast from Nova Black.
My man.
Hey, Nova, we'll miss you, man.
My man.
Pats have 13 picks this year.
The Pats have 13 picks this year?
Yeah, they have 23, 87, 98, 100, 112.
Well, don't listen to me. You know what? As Gene,
204, 212, 213.
Guys, Gene came on this show right now. He put me on blast on Twitter for something I tweeted 3 years ago. I was all on the Fournette train that year. Yeah, well, sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we get it wrong, folks. Oh, T-Money, someone who's been here since the beginning. How much shit did they give me when I got upset about Kelvin Benjamin back in the day? They gave me mad shit talking about, oh, man, you this and that, because I was all on Allen Robinson and Bradley Roby that year. But I tell you, not a lot of people get it right.
But I said it a couple episodes ago, Tony's never had a wet dream for anybody as much as he did for Kevin White.
Oh, you're right about that. You're right about that. But if you think about this, is why Kevin White had a failed career. Right. The point is that now
hold on, the pick is in.
All right, they didn't trade it back.
No, they're not. All right, go ahead, Tony. They're not.
So and you're so right. First of all, T-Money's memory is like an elephant. Second, you're right about that. But if you think about the criticisms that have come for us squandering the Cam era, they were with our inability to put weapons around him. And I think that I'm trying to justify because Kevin White turned out to be a giant bust.
And when I said y'all guys weren't around, but Kevin White got a whole podcast and a half, probably just how good he was going to be. And
we had graphics. We made graphics for Homeboy. I tell you this is that was a man that looked good in underwear. That's what happens. Sammy Coates was a little bit of that for me too. Is I saw Sammy Coates look all cock D's and run really fast, and I was like, oh yeah. And he didn't do shit either.
I want to say like that too.
Dolph Kleeman tweeted. Kleeman tweeted that they took Herbert.
Ooh.
Don't read Twitter. Let's just let this happen on because I don't want to believe nothing I hear from Twitter. I don't want nothing to spoil it. I don't want to hear that we took fucking Derek Brown.
Hold on this. Is this real? Is this real? I didn't get to see. I wasn't watching the stream. It said somebody tweeted this. Why was Dave Gettleman wearing a mask in his house by himself?
Yep, he was. He was.
He put it on after.
He put it on while in. He must have been planning on going out.
After they made the NFL draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Justin Herbert.
All right. Isaiah Simmons is the Carolina Panther. We're getting Simmons.
Okay. But oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so upset.
It'll be interesting.
So we get to pick between Simmons and Derek Brown because I could definitely see Marty fucking up
Derek Brown.
But I think Simmons matches exactly what Rule wants to do.
Rule wants to do.
Yes, speed, athleticism. He wants athletes on the field.
Versatile.
Oh, I can't believe this is going to fall.
Multiple is another word he likes. I believe Matt Rule and Al Davis would have gotten along wonderfully.
Please don't.
This doesn't bode well for Cam Newton, does it?
Please don't fuck.
No.
Hey, yes, thank you, coach. Hey, what do y'all think if we get Simmons and Kuechly as his coach?
Dude, that's the dream.
Daryl,
oh my goodness, right there, man.
Right?
That's the dream, dude.
Daryl Beveridge.
It's gonna happen. Put the pick in. Go put it in.
Daryl Beveridge in the chat says this as well. Cam will be going to the Patriots.
Well, I hope he kind of does, man.
Where does Jameis Winston end up now? I mean, because he's going to be a backup somewhere now.
Yeah, he's got to. Every quarterback cover team just picked up who they needed, except for New England.
His last chance might have been the XFL.
What about Denver?
No, they have Drew Lock.
Yeah,
they'll
bring in homeboy as the backup.
But Marty can't totally mess it up because Herbert is off the board. That was him and, like I said, CJ Henderson is the two that would I totally would be pissed.
This is Cody's boy. This is Cody's boy. Dang, Justin Herbert. He loves Justin Herbert. He thinks he's the white Cam.
But that means Cam
that's not
officially done.
That's not even what I'm saying. When you put him in a better nobody knew who Joe Burrow was before Joe Brady helped him out tremendously with that system. What I'm saying is you can't tell me that if you put Justin Herbert in a better system than that god-awful Oregon offense, that he wouldn't have success. He would absolutely have success. You just have to build around him. But it don't matter.
I tell you this, I'm looking at this boy right now, and he is not no Cam Newton. That is for damn sure.
Dude, the pick is in right now.
Okay, so we didn't trade.
All right.
I swear, if this is CJ Henderson, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Come on.
Oh, I'm probably gonna get off real quick.
Please take Simmons.
Simmons, come on. I think we're all
gonna see like 6 people celebrate here.
I'm not reading the chat. I'm not reading the chat. Sorry, chat. You're gonna have to wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm closing my eyes.
Come on.
I'm closing my eyes.
Okay.
I'll take back
Oh my goodness gracious!
Commercial.
Commercial.
I saved one shot for this pitch. Here we go.
All right, round table prediction. Everybody thinks it's going to be Simmons. Big Chauncey says it's Brown. No, he didn't say. He's not saying they called it. He's saying it's got to be Brown.
I'm telling you, the only reason I see that being a possibility is the moves they made at linebacker. Right? They've already signed Shaq Thompson.
No, I just want to say this. Nobody read the chat until after we know. Sorry, chat room. We love you. We want to. I'm not trying to hear that we took Brown fucking 5 seconds before from a comment.
All right, so from what went from being potentially one of the most exciting shakeup drafts, it has gone
Exactly as expected.
It's just like a blueprint. And if anything, Dave Gettleman shook it up by taking the guy that was supposed to be number 1 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Sure. Most polished most polished tackle in the draft.
Oh, please go Simmons.
But the only reason I say that is we got to hear Whitehead, in the free agency. So we made moves at linebacker.
We
free
still
agency.
need a third linebacker.
I know, but I don't know if they're going to
He can play more than linebacker. That's what's so.
That's the part of it.
About
that's the
guy.
benefit that I could see.
Well, the good news is we need a strong safety. We need a linebacker. We're going to need him to play like he played at Clemson.
We need every position that Isaiah Simmons plays.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly.
I'm just thinking about in the nickel with him and Shaq in the middle of the field.
Well, if you're looking at one situation out of 20, though, I mean, out of
how about this?
6.
Bitch ass Gronk is going to have to go back into retirement after Simmons gets a hold of him. Bam!
Yes, and put them in the dirt. Oh, that's fucking going, Marty Hurney. Don't
break ever.
All I'm saying is
I've ever said about Marty Hurney.
He might channel his inner Gettleman and go Derek Brown.
No,
he's not going to do it. He's not going to go Derek Brown. I think the Luke Kuechly pick in 2012 gives us hope for this. The Carolina Panthers had John Beeson and Thomas Davis. John Beeson was coming off an injury, but you remember he was training with the rubber bands in the sand and all of that mess. He looked like a beast then. Beeson was awesome. By the way, Beeson was the better linebacker until the comeback for Davis.
Yeah. Well, hey, but think about it. Hasn't Carolina always had a good linebacking core? I mean, always. Sam Mills, Lamar Lathan, John Beeson, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly,
Dan Morgan, Will Witherspoon.
Dan Morgan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've always had a great linebacking core. This guy falls in line.
Is Christian making the pick?
No, but they're about to read it. It's been in for a minute. So hold on.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on. God.
Jerry Jeudy, Alabama.
Shut the hell up.
I would be pissed, but
it's going to happen. We're picking a wide receiver here. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh,
I'm not reading the chat.
I'm getting a headache.
What is going on? Why is it not?
Why do they have to put Mel's best available between every
definitely
pick?
Don't look at Twitter.
All right, here we go.
All right, here it is.
All right.
Oh, Matt Rule put on a suit? This guy, I don't know how to feel about him right now.
The office has one Carolina Panthers thing in it.
With the 7th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, Carolina Panthers select Derek fucking Brown. Dude.
Are you serious? Yeah. All right.
Oh, my God.
It's real.
Okay. All right.
It's a freaking joke, dude.
It's not. It was a need. It was a need, and Derek Brown's an elite player. Let's defend. I'm going to defend this pick. The Carolina Panthers.
I mean, we needed defensive tackle, but when Isaiah Simmons is on the board,
my God. Guys, I wanted a reason to love Matt Rule and Tepper era, and he
don't even look that big, dude, in that chair. Is that chair a giant-sized chair? Oh, he's crying.
Dude, I blame Marty Hurney for this shit, dude.
Salad. What do you think? His favorite meal is salad?
I hope not. I hope not.
If Isaiah Simmons was not off the board and we took Derek Brown, I would be okay. But when Isaiah Simmons slips to 7, and you take Derek Brown,
he's a good player. I don't want
the Panthers could not stop the run to save their life last year. They couldn't
because they switched to a 3-4.
And also, yes, that's a great point, T Money. The other point though is that the Panthers in 2012, after firing Marty Hurney, or 2013, when they started their strong run, did it by double dipping at defensive tackle. This was Dave Gettleman with Star Latulele and then KK Short. So while, it's hard to get excited about a Hog Molly, is that they are important to the roster. And right now we had no defensive tackles. We have none. This guy's going to be handed a starting job from day one.
Yeah. You could have traded down and took Derek Brown, though. You could have traded down and just took Kinlaw.
So we talked about earlier about falling in love and giving away faces. Does this look like the face of a man who loved Derek Brown?
Oh my goodness! It's the same picture. It's like Norv and DJ Moore, right? And you said it, Gene, before the show popped off. Is that the Carolina? That they're good at giving it away, and they've given it away. And almost once Herbert was gone, does that make Derek Brown inevitable?
Hey, I'll be right back.
I think they probably had it set
after
in
he
the
fell to
stone
him, it was
that
inevitable.
Derek Brown was going to beat her, and that's who they was going to take.
The Cardinals picking so quick. You guys think it's going to be Simmons, or who do you guys think it is?
Yeah, it's got to be. Who would not take him? Who would not take him? The Carolina Panthers and the Giants, obviously.
By the way, is that I think that the Cardinals are on the come up big time.
Yeah.
You had Simmons.
The Cardinals are probably taking. The Cardinals are.
They might take Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb.
They'd probably take CeeDee Lamb over Jerry Jeudy, just off the Murray and Lamb connection.
Yeah, that's true. But they could take either one of those two, basically because of that connection. And you put
J-Dub says we wasted the star pick. Star Latulele was a great pick for us. Nick Montiero says he gave us $4.99. He says happy birthday to Brian Burns, best on the Panthers roster. He says WTF. He also said he would have donated $50 to the podcast earlier had we picked Isaiah Simmons. So he's sneakily going, well, I saved myself. Well, first of all, you didn't save yourself anything because you're donating. So you're just generous and cool. Other than the shit you give to Tony every week. Other than that, I do like Brown over Simmons, though. And right now, how about this? All right, so I meant not Simmons. Sim over Kinlaw. Brown over.
I was about to say what?
Brown over Kinlaw is what I'm saying. I think that Brown is
Brown over Kinlaw.
I don't know.
It's kind of the safer. It's the safer bet, man. And the other question I have to you guys when it comes to this is that. At least so now is that if you would you have been more upset, T Money, had you heard CJ Henderson's name announced?
Oh yeah. I would have left to hang out and been done for the night. The Cardinals took Isaiah Simmons right after us.
It wasn't going to last much longer.
Did the Cardinals take Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah, I can't believe he lasted as long as he did.
He did go to the Cardinals?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. He's off the board now.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so the draft has gone from being excited to unexciting.
I'd rather him go to the Cardinals and, keep slipping to, Atlanta.
Right.
Same way I don't want Atlanta to get Kinlaw either, because Kinlaw and Grady Jarrett in the middle might be unblockable.
Kinlaw might be going next, or in the next one or two. Jacksonville, Cleveland Giants, or Jets.
Jacksonville needs a corner, so they might take C.J. Henderson.
Yeah.
Because didn't A.J. Boye leave too?
Yes.
So
they lost
and Njoku is making a big mess right now too. So I could see maybe the Jaguars doing some draft capital trade to try to get something for Njoku.
Somebody in the chat says this current montage of Isaiah Simmons just seems like it's rubbing it in now.
Rubbing it in, yes. Oh man,
I don't know. I don't know if he plays.
Is Travis still there? Yeah, Travis. Hey, now we both get to smoke weed all heartbroken and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'll think of you tonight, man. Yeah.
I'm just terribly disappointed. Terribly disappointed.
I feel exactly what you're going through. And can I just say, man, and listen, I don't. Tony is right. It is what the doctor ordered. Our run defense was abysmal. Derek Brown is going to be that presence in the middle that we haven't that we have not had in a long time. But I'm just going to be honest, man. I don't trust the evaluation process of the Carolina Panthers. I mean, even if we're talking about,
do you believe this was like T Money said, too set in stone?
I mean, I don't even know. I just think that Marty Herney is so apparent. Like what Gene said, showing a picture, it's like you always know who we're going to draft by who Marty Herney is seen making Google eyes with at their pro day. It's like that's who we pick.
Well, if we're going off that, then I mean, I guess we would have took Herbert if he was available.
DJ Moore.
Well, he was gone though. You never know. They would have taken him. He would have goo-goo-eyed.
The love of Derek Brown through this whole process. I mean, it ain't just the pro day. They met with him at the combine, and then just the media members who continuously brought his name up when in connection with us. You heard his name more than anybody else, and it was just the same as last year. And the year before that with Gettleman, even when Gettleman was around. A lot of this, I mean,
Brian
just
Burns
drums
surprised
it
me
up.
a little bit.
I mean, this kind of answers a question everybody had because everybody thought Rule might be. Everybody like, is Herney going to make a decision or is Rule going to get the final decision tonight? And this feels like a Herney pick. So
I would disagree with Cody a little bit though. I feel like Burns and DJ Moore both surprised me a little bit.
I mean, DJ Moore.
When we took Brian
Burns,
but
you saw, you know what it was? It was Norv that gave away the DJ Moore pick, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. It was Norv Turner.
All right, here, Cody,
when
take
Brian
over.
Burns got picked, though, I thought we were gonna take Montez, though.
Well, I would like to say that Chase Young, do you believe he's going to be the rookie defensive player of the year or special teams player of the year? Question for that. But I want to go to the calls, and Cody, you take the mic after the call, all right? Cody, you take the mic.
Yep.
Oh, man, I'm kind of disappointed. We didn't get Simmons, but hopefully we get another good pick in the second round. Alrighty, guys. Hope you have a good day. This is Anthony Rochelle. You know, I'm just kind of disappointed, but you know, it is what it is. Panthers for life. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Is that I guess that's the last call. Yeah, man. I think we're all. I don't know, man. And I didn't want to be a pessimist and be like, oh, I don't want to get my hopes up because I'm always disappointed. But here I am again, disappointed, man.
Right.
And I just want to add a little bit of why. So, Brown is a good pick for us, but I just don't think that you draft a run-stopping defensive tackle with a top 10 pick. I don't think he offers a lot of upside as a pass rusher. So, in my opinion, you're talking about a player whose only function is to stop the run. So, Yeah,
I mean, we were a terrible run defense last year, so
Oh yeah,
based on that logic, it makes sense. But man, come on, dude. Oh,
yeah.
sorry, y'all.
Gotta wonder what this is going to do with all the purging they've done on the roster, because they couldn't move KK's contract here. And speaking of KK, I mean, you gotta feel like ever since he got that big deal, he's kind of underperformed on his contract. And if it wasn't for the dead cap on that contract, you wonder if they would have moved on from him.
Yeah, and I think to piggyback on what Gene just said, I do think that K1 Short's best years were when he had Starla Tulare next to him. And he did have that big, powerful defensive tackle that was going to draw some double teams in the middle and give K1 Short those one-on-one matchups. And I don't know that he ever had that chemistry with Don Tari Poe or Gerald McCoy. So, yeah. And you have to think Brian Burns, K1 Short, Derek Brown, you have Christian Miller. By the way, the Jaguars just selected CJ Henderson. Wow.
Well, they needed to replace Ramsey, so
yeah.
Those reports about CJ going in top 10, they weren't wrong.
Dude, his whole family looks bored as fuck. Oh my god.
Guys, I wanted so badly to be able to talk on Tuesday about how much I was excited about.
Man. I know, dude.
It was there. It was right there for the taking.
Well, I think what we need to do now, and I think a lot of us, a defensive tackle isn't a sexy pick, and I think we're all a little jaded by the draft of Vernon Butler. He's the most recent defensive tackle that we've drafted, and to have him be a bust in the first round is tough. The other part is he was drafted late that year because we had went to the Super Bowl that year. But no, I'm going to hold my judgment until I actually see in depth. Like I always try to do the highlights, but until you can actually look into the actual, as Cody probably's done with him, the actual technique and his actual value that he's going to bring to the team. I think it's fair to say let's wait and then we'll talk about that Tuesday.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I think this is a good pick.
I don't know what you're going to get out of these prospects until 2-3 years under it anyways.
I think it's a good pick. You need the Panthers defensive line is a wreck right now. Not only have we lost defensive ends, Mario Addison was so important to this defense, even though he was aging. Right now, we saw the problems that were apparent because of the lack of defensive tackles. KK Short is my dude. We all love him, but we don't know how he's going to look after. I mean, I won't say how he's going to look after, but we missed him last year sorely, and you never know what's going to happen with with a player coming off an injury. So while the Derek Brown pick is not necessarily the sexiest of picks, we could have been picking C.J. Henderson, which the Browns did. And you know what? Kudos to the Browns. Think about that. Now they got two top corners. They've got as usual for the last couple of years, or for the last year or so, the Browns look good on paper.
Hey,
just to correct you, it was the Jags that picked up C.J. Henderson.
Oh, really? It was the Jags? Okay, man.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. So the Browns pick is in right now then. I'm sitting here watching the Browns pick is in. I'm just watching the highlights from the previous pick.
Got to be offensive tackle for the Browns.
All right. So the Browns don't have the two best corners or two good corners now.
So if I'm
really damn good one now.
Is this kid announcing the pick?
No, he was just talking about.
By the way, on the Panthers live stream right now, guess who they got breaking it down? Steph Curry.
Jake DeLong.
Oh gosh.
They are also
Man,
on Zoom. They are also on Zoom, I believe. It looks like Zoom. It could be Cisco, WebEx. What a missed opportunity by other video conferencing platforms to let just Zoom take all the kudos during all this.
Dude, I woke up this morning thinking it was going to be such a great day, and up until the point of where the Chargers drafted Justin Herbert, it has been a fantastic day. And every second since then has sucked. Oh, my goodness.
That's the life of a Panthers fan, man. The highs,
You wanted Justin Herbert?
Hey, no, I didn't want Justin Herbert.
He wanted
Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons.
After they drafted Herbert, everything after that sucked because they could have had Simmons, and now I just heard that Steph Curry is, it's whatever.
All right, so the Browns took your Jedrick Wills.
So much that we didn't get Simmons, or are we mad about getting Derrick Brown? Because I don't think Derrick Brown's a bad pick.
I don't mind Derrick Brown. He's a bad pick. I don't like Derrick Brown at 7 when Simmons is on the board.
Yeah, so it's just passing on Simmons.
Simmons was gone, and imagine Herbert got drafted instead of Simmons. I didn't want Herbert. Derrick Brown would have been okay for me. So I'm not mad about the Derrick Brown pick.
There will be other run-stopping defensive tackles, in the coming drafts in the next few years. I don't think there's ever going to be someone,
like Isaiah Simmons. Yeah, I agree.
But man, did he really play as fast as you guys make him out to be? Like half of the
insane, dude. I'm telling you. Like, go back and look at Luke Kuechly's college stuff. Isaiah Simmons is better than that.
No, he's not. There's no way. No way. First of all,
college-wise,
no. Luke Kuechly had like a bazillion tackles every year. Yeah. The one thing I like about this is what I've seen, and I've only looked at highlights. You guys you've watched the real film, so I just told you that the Browns picked C.J. Henderson. So why the fuck listen to me? But what I see is one of the things about Luke Kuechly that was different is it was the quickness of him making the decision on how to play. You know what I'm saying? Like he instinctually went after things, and that's a playing fast that is different than athleticism. And from just a couple of highlight film, I just haven't seen that decisiveness.
But I mean, it all came later though, because Luke wasn't the playmaker that he was then. That he ended up being. He wasn't like that in college.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was the dip butt kiss winner. He was the dip butt kiss winner.
For tackles though, he wasn't. I feel like he started becoming a game changer once he got with us.
Yes,
I agree. Luke Kuechly in his final season had 112 solo tackles. And Isaiah Simmons' final season, he had 67. Now, mind you,
but who else?
Mind you, hold up.
Wait, say those numbers again.
More than just tackles.
Luke had 112 tackles.
How many tackles did he have every year for the Panthers?
But I don't know. I'm just saying
like that. It was like that. It was always like that.
Yeah. Isaiah Simmons played more positions that don't always require you to tackle. So it's not a one.
But not even that. I mean, who else off of Boston College made it to the league?
Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Doug Flutie.
Talking on their defense.
Was Doug Flutie in Boston? Yeah, you're right. No, Doug.
Wow, who went Doug Flutie? Well done, Travis. That's awesome. Hey, and I used to have a roommate that had a Flutie Flakes box of, like, he always kept it up on display. Flutie Flakes. Doug Flutie.
Even though I don't ever watch CFL, he's the number one player ever.
Is it? The number one player in CFL history, Doug Flutie.
Yeah. Don't really mean nothing. That's like being number one player in your high school.
He was good, and he was good. He was good. All right, so far the draft has gone off without a hitch.
Yeah, exactly as I thought it would be. Well, Except for Simmons, I thought he would have been gone.
Well, I mean, like the actual technical part.
Yeah.
Nope.
Technically, everything seems to be working really well. I will say
nobody
that
has had to have any extended time.
And who are all these people on the screen right now, and why are they so pretty? Like every single one of those people from Dell are beautiful.
So I was getting ready to say that I kind of mentioned it on the podcast that I don't anticipate a lot of trades just for the fact that things are going to be as complicated as it is. So putting everything, trying to figure out trades and getting in the deadlines and everything, I just felt like was going to be an extra step these guys don't want to take.
That is true. We've been hearing the Giants were interested in trading. Atlanta was interested in trading.
The Skins.
Hearing all these.
Yeah, the Lions.
The Skins was thinking about trading down. Didn't they say Gettleman said in his press conference that he was looking to trade down?
Yeah, Gettleman's like a ultimate chess player in that regard. I'm not saying he's smart about it, but he's constantly throwing up smoke screens when it comes to stuff like that.
Take somebody that we know who you would take. Like, we know you're going to take an offensive lineman.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The problem is why didn't he do that while he was in Carolina?
What,
that's man. We could have used that. That's the thing with Gettleman. That is, he talks.
He just didn't in the first round.
Nah, what? When?
Yeah, he took Darrell Williams and then
third, fourth.
Free agent
Yeah,
signing,
he was fourth.
Well, he's drafted
took him. He just didn't take him early.
Mm-hmm.
He never understood though that it was such a significant weakness that there need. Look, Gettleman in his career as GM was $1 a day late and $1 short a couple of times.
Yeah,
and when you think about the offensive line, that's one of them. By the time he realized I can't do what I think I can, he then went and tried to put money at Matt Khalil. Right? And you know what? Yeah. I celebrated the Matt Khalil move at that moment because at least we were trying to do something. But again...
Now that is the greatest travesty of Cam's Panthers career. Not the playmakers, not none of that.
He was awful.
He never got...
He was so bad.
First round tackle in his whole career.
Never. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yep. And that's where I agree. And I do believe that because he was a day late and $1 short by realizing that. Matt Khalil shows us that. Again, he did a couple of things too. One of the criticisms was not putting enough talent around Cam to where this was a Cam-only show. And guess what? At the end of his tenure, he goes all in on Christian McCaffrey, Curtis Samuel. You know what I'm saying? It was always like, and Dave Gettleman used to say, don't shop while you're hungry. But he always shopped hungry. Think about the year that he let Josh Norman go, and then we picked 3 corners, Daryl Worley.
And none of them are on the team.
Yeah, none of them. Right. That's right.
Bradbury, right?
It was Zach Sanchez hasn't played in the NFL in what, 2-3 years?
New York Jets select Mekhi Becton.
That makes sense. Get some protection for Sam Darnold.
Derek Brown already got trying to get on Panthers' side right here. He said, "Shout out to the Panthers. I'm ready. Got to start learning that playbook in Madden 2000 or Madden 20. Who trying to play with me? Leave your gamer tag in a comment."
I mean, it won't be our playbook because Phil Snow.
Because it's last year.
But
play calling.
But it sounds good.
No, I thought it was pretty cool that he's trying to play with fans right now.
That's right, making an effort.
Say that again, Cody. CK.
Derek Brown tweeted, "Shout out to the Panthers. I'm ready. Got to start learning that playbook in Madden 2020. Who trying to play with me? Leave your gamer tag in a comment."
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll make you a fan right away. And what else do you do, right? Actually, I mean, hell, they actually have NASCAR races that are based on video games, so why not learn on Madden?
Mm-hmm.
Who was it that was telling us that? Was it Nova?
Take old Henry Ruggs here.
Who did
the Raiders type pick? But they might go CeeDee Lamb.
Did the Jets take Jerry Jeudy?
They go wide receiver.
No, the Jets took Mekhi
They took Mekhi Becton,
which they needed so desperately. Offensive line.
Yeah.
and that keeps him away from Tampa because I think Tampa is looking to take a tackle to protect Tom Brady.
No Jerry Jeudy selected, correct? Right?
No, I think Lamb might go for Jeudy, but I think Las Vegas right here, the Raiders, they're going to pick one of those two.
Yeah, I think
they don't have any wide receivers.
I think Ruggs is going here.
The Patriots are going to pick.
They've been
Jeudy.
saying.
I mean, not the Patriots, the Bucks.
In love with Ruggs.
The Bucks,
the Alabama wide receiver, Ruggs.
Yeah, I got you. Not a bad idea. Oh man!
At least that's what Tony Paul.
Wirfs is still on the board,
anyways. That
is he? Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
Dude, somebody already got Derek Brown in a Panthers uniform.
You're going to see San Francisco take a offense.
Hey,
I mean, Derek Brown.
Send me that. Send me that on Twitter.
CK. On everybody next year.
All right, he said Sam's going to take an offensive lineman.
All right, here. Let's take another.
Derek Brown was a unanimous All-American.
Dude, didn't you see him pile drive that kid? All right, let's take another call from Panther fans. The number's 252-228-5098. It's the C3 Panthers podcast. It's our draft party, 7th one in a row. We're here every year breaking it down like this. We are ahead of the curve. Everybody's talking about flattening the curve. We are the curve. The number's 252-228-5098.
Man. How y'all doing, man?
This is G. Cavassier.
Man. I'm watching the draft with y'all. You know what I'm saying, man? Love the show, man. Hey, I'm going to be honest. I'm pissed we picked up Derek Brown. I wanted Isaiah Simmons so goddamn fucking bad. Y'all heard me say this shit like,
yep.
I hear you, man.
On Tuesday? You heard me say that shit? But at the same time, I think, Derek Brown, he's going to do okay, man. I think he can stop the run. I think he can move that damn pocket. I'm not pissed off to the point where I'm just like, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully he don't turn out like Vernon Butler. Hopefully. Okay?
Oh, gosh. The worst.
But, you know what I'm saying? Beside him and KK next to each other, him and Short next to each other, I think we'll be all right, man. I really do, man. My question is, who the fuck we going to take in the damn second, man? That's all I want to know. And Cody, like I said, I still want A.J. Terrell. Can't get A.J. Terrell, man. Hey, man, pull the trigger on Jalen Hurts, man. I'm telling you, man. I tell you, I wouldn't mind getting that damn safety out of damn Washington either, man. Got his fucking name, him or the damn safety out of Alabama, or maybe the corner out of Alabama. But we got to do. I think this is gonna be a damn defensive ass fucking draft. I really do, man.
It's gotta be.
I don't want a wide receiver.
It's gotta
I
be.
have a feeling they're gonna pick up a wide receiver, and I won't be surprised if they don't pick up a defensive end or defensive tackle from damn Baylor. I really do. So give me your thoughts on that and keep pounding.
What was the names that were linked to Rule from Baylor? Because they're really
James Lynch.
Yep. Is he defensive tackle or defensive end? Or
I
none?
would say he's going to be an interior defensive lineman on the next level.
So, two things from Twitter. Marty Herney said that they were very high on Isaiah Simmons as well, but they believe that it starts up front. And Marty Herney didn't believe that Derek Brown would even be there at pick 7. So really, if we wanted Simmons, we needed the Lions to take Simmons at number 3.
You mean the Brown? Take Brown at 3.
Jordan Rodriguez reporting the Panthers.
You mean take Brown at 3?
Yeah.
The Jordan Rodriguez reporting that the Panthers did indeed receive calls for the 7 spot, but they said that they felt very strongly about taking Brown at 7.
That's bullshit.
So
that's bullshit.
I mean, I can respect that. He acknowledged that Isaiah Simmons was worth taking there, so I don't really mind.
But you really believe that somebody offered us real shit at that point, and we're not trying to get a little bit more? That would be the silly part to me. Is that
If
it has
feel
nothing
that strongly about Derek Brown, I guess.
I mean, it makes sense if you have a bad GM. Huh?
But you could have gotten think you might be able to get Jerry Jeudy and Derek Brown that way.
Henry Ruggs went to.
We were never gonna take Jerry Jeudy.
By the way.
Yep.
We were never gonna take a receiver in the first round.
They were reporting that
weren't.
Gruden was in love with him for a while, so I figured that was what that was.
We need too many defensive pieces, and this receiving class is too deep for us to take wide receiver in the first round.
But if you had 2 picks, though,
still wouldn't. It would have been 2 defensive players,
which we could use like big time.
I mean, I would have loved them to trade back into the teens.
But I mean, I think somebody whoever said that had a good point. There's been no trades so far.
I think it's no trades mainly because
it's been uneventful.
Yeah, well, it's been uneventful, and I think it's intended to be that way. I think these guys are simply trying to do everything they can to make sure there are no hiccups.
The technology stuff.
Yeah, and not so I knew. I'm not going to say I knew, but I felt as though this was going to be the most straightforward draft we're going to see. At least until tomorrow night. And maybe tomorrow night we start seeing a lot more movement because guys are going to feel a little more comfortable with the system, especially after tonight moving as smoothly as it has. But yeah, it's interesting that there has been no movement at all up to this point. Even just moving up one spot. I mean, you see that happen pretty frequently when we talk about this stuff. So,
which I agree.
Well, I still hope for them to stockpile.
I mean, at this point in the
picks.
draft, nobody's traded up for a franchise quarterback. Nobody's traded up for, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, somebody would have traded up for a franchise quarterback by now.
But those people already had good picks, being the Chargers and the Dolphins.
You think they were the only teams? I mean, New England could have used a quarterback.
They don't have 27 picks. Nobody laughed at that. Nobody laughed at that after all the shit y'all made out of that earlier. Not a single.
What was it? What did you say?
I'm gonna be honest. I missed it.
I said, what did you say, T Money? T Money, what'd you ask?
I said you said nobody needed a quarterback that could trade up. I said the Patriots didn't need a quarterback.
And I said what? They only got but 26 picks.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
After
they definitely could have used.
Like I said earlier, the reports were that they were waiting to see if Tua fell past 10. If any of these medicals caused him to fall, and a lot of the stuff even I heard on the radio, on Mad Dog Radio, whenever I was coming home from town earlier getting food, they were saying they had a New England beat reporter on there and saying Tua fell below 10. Then watch out for the Patriots. What they may try to come up and get him, and he didn't fall, so we kind of eliminated that.
But how many people have we seen trade up for franchise quarterbacks that either didn't need one or traded up for franchise quarterbacks that suck? Somebody would have by now in any other year.
Ruggs was wearing a robe. How did I miss this? I'm not watching it closely enough. I'm watching the podcast. Somebody wrote that he was wearing a robe.
He is.
Yeah, I'm not watching it at all. I'm going strictly off for you guys. I don't have cable in my house.
Yeah.
What would you wear?
You got a big banner of himself behind him.
Would you go fly at the home quarantine draft, or would you try to look like the everyday man and go in a robe?
All right,
I probably would have wore something that said something about T Money or T Money Productions or something.
Straight facts.
Rappaport is reporting.
Yeah,
we have our first trade.
Yay! I get to use the graphic.
Tampa Bay has traded up one spot with the 49ers. And I'm willing to bet you anything that this is going to be Tristan Riffs.
I got the graphic. Finally, I get to use the graphic. So wait, who did they trade with? The Patriots?
No, the 49ers.
The 49ers.
49ers were 13.
So they want someone. Who they want? The 49ers want like a wide receiver or something.
An offensive lineman. And they're gonna draft Tristan.
Yeah, I could see them taking worse.
Who are the 49ers gonna get? Jerry Jeudy?
No, Javon Kinlaw. Dude, let me tell you, man, John Lynch has been doing a damn good job for the 49ers. They just traded away
playing people.
The Forrest Buckner, and they're probably going to draft Javon Kinlaw to replace him. Like, they're good to go. Dude.
How do they always do that? This is the same thing.
Finally, somebody's got a girlfriend beside him.
How do you always get somebody to trade one?
Look at this little girl. This is who he dates?
Nah, somebody else did earlier. How do the Niners always get people to trade up one spot?
Right? For real though, always one.
Look at Arian's house.
They play Chicago.
Arian's joint looks exactly like I expected it to look. White chair. Yeah.
But to do it multiple times, because remember they did that. They did that with Mitch. They told the Bears, "Oh, we're gonna take Mitch. We're gonna take Mitch," and they traded up one spot to take Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, they did.
Like, what is John Lynch saying?
This is why I feel like the Panthers kind of missed out on an opportunity with all those player prospects being at 7, because it's not like they need everything to fill every hole this year. They need to start stockpiling assets for future drafts. Right. This is how teams like San Francisco, New England, you kind of sacrifice one draft to one good position to gain more positions later. Right. And they just don't do that, and especially with Marty Hurney, he just doesn't trade back. I don't understand it.
If you're gonna do
and
that,
I'm sure analytical Twitter's out there losing their minds.
Yeah, they are.
I seen I seen give us a C for that Derrick Brown pick, and I like him. What's my dude name? Tony, you've been on his stuff before. The dude that last name is like Salamingo or something.
Oh, yeah, Edward Salamingo. What's his name? But he lives out west and he does Panthers Wire or whatever.
Yeah, he gave us a C.
Oh yeah, Edgar. Yeah. Yeah, I deal with Edgar a lot.
A C?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say him and Billy both are ripping this apart right now.
Well, when is Billy ever happy?
But people don't give us that.
Answer that to me. Is that the most...
Oh, yeah, Billy?
And by the way, I got problems. I got mad problems with kind of him.
Biggest cynicist.
I can't talk with him. And then the other one, they did a podcast together, Marxist Panther. I want to blow my fucking brains out listening to these dudes. They are the worst fans. And I mean, look, and God bless Billy for, like, he works hard. He's doing a lot of shit. He's trying to move up. He's trying to get his thing done. Good for him. But it's very
stepping on the Panthers to get there.
God, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's just too much, man. It's too much to be unhappy about everything.
Yeah, I
think a lot of what Billy is.
Let's hear what Gene's got to say. Gene, go ahead.
He's a real big film guy, and he's an analytical guy. So analytical Twitter and doesn't compute with Panthers right now with Marty Hurney as GM, and the whole like hiring of Matt Rule. Everybody thinks, oh, now we're going to start moving in that analytical way. We start hearing about the analytics. So you figure a lot of these guys like Billy and them start coming on board, but Marty's still here, and they know Marty's still
was
in the background making a lot of those decisions and making a lot of those moves.
Well, I think too that a lot of people want to be cooler than they are, and what I mean by that is analytics is that I don't want to poo-poo it like the old hats do. But I work in a business where statistics are looked at, and I tell you this: there's statistics, damn statistics, and lies. And the idea is this: is that analytics are important, but they have to be used in context. You have to make data-driven decisions. You don't make decisions. Too many people are just like the data. Now, I don't know what these guys do. The problem with Billy and those cats is they're so pessimistic that when you even
they
say
kill stuff before it even gives a chance.
Yeah, and even if you're like, hey, I'm if you ain't online with them, you dumb.
You're an idiot.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't mind that because
you don't mind being told you're an idiot.
Optimistic Panther fans. No, because
it's not about
I like
being
to have the
optimistic
different
or
opinions
pessimistic, but
because he's going to point out things.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying that I like having seen the different opinions. It doesn't bother me as much. Like,
well, that's cool. That's cool. But the problem is,
that's cool. But the same way, but what I don't like is the arrogance.
That's right. That's exactly right.
They act like they're the only one that watches games. They're the only one that watch film. They're the only ones that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I break stuff down the same way you break stuff down. We might come to different assessments, but don't act like I ain't do my studying, like I don't put in my work.
Also, if we do appreciate different opinions, that's cool. But there's certain people in the world that don't appreciate different opinions.
And they're both one. You can't call somebody an idiot and say you appreciate their opinion.
Yeah, exactly. See, hey, Cody, can you cover?
Like me and
but
Cody
I think Billy does a lot
stuff, but I know,
work,
but I know.
So
that's his work.
That's one of the one good thing about Billy being so pessimistic.
Like me and Cody have different opinions on stuff.
So cynical.
But I know Cody's out there putting in his homework.
Yeah, and like my thing is and I've even said
when he sees bad, he's gonna
go ahead.
Point out how bad to you and share the film with you.
Right. And
I'm just saying,
what I try to do
the reason I like it so much is because as somebody who is a eternal optimist about things, it's just like the CMC thing. I love to see. I'm fine with the CMC signing because right now they've emptied the books of all their big contracts. By the time this contract really goes into big effect on us, the dead cap's going to start dropping off. And I think if you're going to pay a running back, it would be now. But Billy, Billy's hates that. Hates the idea of paying a running back. Thinks they should have traded him.
Yeah,
and I like to see the different opinions and stuff like on that. And I like that when he does film breakdowns, that he will point out faults in a lot of these prospects. Kind of just show you. He'll post the film, show you, and I really like his perspective of looking at it from that angle. It helps me when I'm looking at prospects.
I hear you. Hey, how a shout out? Is that my man Nova Black? Nova,
what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Nova Black. What's up, buddy?
Nova, hey man, talk to us, dude. Derek Brown,
I'm just glad to be here. I went through hell and high water trying to get this thing to work, man.
Yeah, you did it, man.
Listen, I threw my whole warranty on my iPhone out of the way to make this happen. Hangouts wasn't working. My laptop wasn't working. Listen, my Xbox, no matter where I tried to stream, it wasn't working.
Oh, shit.
So I had to jailbreak my iPhone. Oh.
Dedication right there, yo.
Good thing I plan to do for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
But you guys, as far as Derek Brown goes, I can say that I'm disappointed, but I'm not let down.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think it was the safest pick at number 7. I still feel like the better option was to trade down, considering who was on the board if we didn't take Isaiah Simmons. So that being said, man, hey, thank you guys for bringing this podcast to us. Thank you for picking up when I joined. allowing me to speak my piece. My heart was broken before I even started, man. I couldn't get nothing working. I've been trying since 7:30.
Yeah, man.
Get on, man. I'm glad you got it working.
And I remember you sent me that message on Twitter. I let everybody know that you sent love, but I'm happy you're here, man. And I think everyone kind of feels the same way. Like, we had our hopes up for either Jeffrey Okuda or Isaiah Simmons, and that didn't happen. But Derek Brown does fill a hole of tremendous need, man. Every football team was running the football on us. We had to have that kind of player. But I agree with you, man. Why not trade down? And
I agree.
And I'm reading now that the Panthers had offers to trade down, and they chose not to.
Cody, you're making this worse for me, man.
They chose not to trade down.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, my
I
personal
have an
belief
unpopular
is
opinion. It doesn't matter, but I feel like Javon Kinlaw would have offered us more at defensive tackle. Because he could have been more of an anchor. I think Derek Brown is more ready to play right now, but I think Kinlaw got the higher upside. If we had a good defensive line coach that could get the best out of him long term, they could put him at nose or any other position. But you can do that with Derek Brown right now. But as far as impact on the game, pushing the pocket, you're talking about pushing guys like Ryan Khalil in his prime, man. Like pushing those guys straight off center.
Yeah.
The best guy I think for that would be Kinlaw. But if you want somebody who has all of the technical skills like pass rush moves that could get the center, off. If you're in more of a gap or zone, a gap control defense like Ron Rivera, Kinlaw would be a guy over Derek Brown. So right now, I don't think I think we're more going towards a zone type defense because of the guy that we have. Because you can still play him at nose in the 3-4 or anywhere on the 4-3.
So, by the way, let me update you. Speaking of Javon Kinlaw, with the 14th pick in the draft, San Francisco 49ers still at Javon Kinlaw.
Gosh, they select the defensive tackle every year.
And I was surprised.
They replaced Buckner.
Yeah, they replaced dude. Right now, John Lynch might legitimately be the best general manager in the NFL.
100%.
Seriously.
I agree. Yeah.
Like real talk.
You lose. You trade
14,
what you call it to Indianapolis.
You still could have traded back and got him.
Yep.
But they did though. They were at 13 and they traded back one with Tampa Bay. They let Tampa Bay come
I'm not watching the draft. I'm only knowing about everything because y'all guys. What did Tampa give up to move back one pick?
That's a great question.
I'm still looking for that. I have not found what.
Hey.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, I have it right here. San Francisco 49ers received number 14 and pick number 117, and Tampa Bay received pick 13 and pick number 245.
So they got a third round. They got a third round out of it, maybe, right?
They got third rounder out of it.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
And again,
we're moving one spot.
Yeah, that's value.
And again, you replace Buckner with a guy on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
Nova's right. That's the thing is that did the Panthers make a mistake in not trading back and being able to get their guy? The Panthers need players. That's the thing is that we may split hairs over Simmons, Brown, Kinlaw. You can name the names. We need bodies on defense. It would have really been nice to be able to double dip on defense and have a top We got what, the 38th pick or something like that.
Uh,
Yeah.
We can still hope for the second round. We can hope we can move back in the second.
Yeah.
My personal belief is if you already have a franchise quarterback or you're not sure about getting a franchise quarterback in the draft and you pick top 10, you should always be looking to trade back.
Possibly.
Somebody
I mean,
is always looking.
depends on the talent
Somebody's
there.
always looking to move up.
Well, to me,
somebody's looking to move up.
To me, this this draft though has signaled that outside of Herbert and Tua, no one's of interest. Because if they were, once Herbert went, yeah, we would have seen Love gone at this point. So right now, Cody, do the Panthers do something crazy and try to get a quarterback in the second?
The Patriots might take Love.
I mean, hey, dude, Marty Herney's our general manager.
Well, would you be upset if they got the Love kid in the second at 38?
I would, because I'm not sure of Love as a prospect anyway. I would rather
still
take
Jalen Hurts and Jake Fromm out there. I mean, there's still
Jake Fromm is not going to be it.
I wouldn't be upset for this reason alone, because it's the same thing I said about Herbert.
There's more than 10 people in my man's house. There are more than 10 people in the house.
Hold on. I wouldn't want Jordan Love or Justin Herbert to start next year. But because we have Teddy Bridgewater, who's been around, who knows how to play, I mean, I go back to the same thing. Joe Burrow in 2018 was not the player that went number one this year.
No, sir.
The system matters. Drew Brees would not be the player that you know today without Sean Payton. And that's just the truth. So yeah.
Tom Brady like that with Bill Belichick?
So what I'm saying is, if you take a talented player like Jordan Love, give him time to learn the ins and outs of the quarterback position and protect him. Dude, he has a cannon for an arm. He's mobile. Yeah, I have no problem with Jordan Love in the future, but it goes back to we wasted a third-round pick on Will Greer last year.
Waste. It was the worst. That was the worst pick of Herney's second tenure.
Hey, guys, pardon me.
Well, he had one game, right?
Give the mic to Nova Black, real quick.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to touch on what Cody said as far as Drew Brees. If you go on Drew Brees' first 3 seasons alone, you wouldn't want to give up no more than a second or a third round pick for that guy. He really didn't blossom into his 4th season, and they still traded him away with such an amazing season. Him and Teddy Bridgewater is like the same guy, and how my guy said it, in alternate universes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, before we get anything else, man, it's 10 o'clock. I got to wake up in like 6 hours. So, Gene, Tony, PK, Cody, Nova Black, T-Money, C3 Nation, everybody out there, thank y'all for coming tonight. It was great talking to y'all. I may change my opinion by Tuesday.
Why don't you strike and stay on the fucking podcast?
No, if I strike, I don't get paid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so... But like I said, I may change my opinion by Tuesday. But for right now, Matt Rule and Dave Tepper, you can ice up.
Hey, Greg is employee of the postal system, so that's where the strike reference comes from. There is it's a postal.
Greg, I'm sorry you couldn't go to sleep knowing that Isaiah Simmons was a Panther, man.
I'm going to shotgun 2 beers, and then I'll be able to go to sleep just fine.
I heard that, man. I heard that.
Y'all have a good one, man. I'll see y'all Tuesday night. I'll probably talk to the rest of y'all tomorrow.
All right. Later, man.
Later, man.
All right, so who's on the clock
now? By the way,
now?
I wanted to mention here real quick. We were talking about Dave Gettleman throwing that mask on earlier. It's a tweet from Zach Rosenblatt saying, just FYI, Dave Gettleman was wearing a mask because he went through chemo 2 years ago, and there's an IT person in his house.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. I mean, all right.
Snap. Okay.
That makes a whole lot of sense now.
Or you could just wash your hands, but all right.
But hey, a real quick update, because I know T-Money is dependent on me for picks. The Denver Broncos select Jerry Jeudy at 15, and now the 28-3 Atlanta Falcons are on the call.
Oh, I got a Falcons guy. I gotta send him the link.
This draft couldn't feel any better for the Broncos.
So I thought Jerry Jeudy should have gone higher.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm surprised that CeeDee Lamb is still on
The Broncos wanted a wide receiver so bad, and they didn't even have to move.
Yeah,
to get
Lamb
one.
is still on the board. Yeah, that was the perfect pick for Denver. That's what they wanted, man. That could not have gone any better.
Now you got what is it, Sutton and Goody in Denver.
Yeah,
Drew
Cortland
Lock
Sutton.
having some weapons.
Who was the tight end that they drafted?
Who, the Broncos?
Noah Fant. Yeah, didn't they draft
Noah Fant?
Yeah, they drafted
took
Noah
Fant.
Fant.
Yeah. I liked him coming out.
Because they were talking when I was listening to that station when I was trying to find out the information about the Henderson rumors. I listened to the Denver station for a little bit, and they were talking about how can we trade up to get a wide receiver or corner, because that's what we need. We need a wide receiver corner. That's what brought up the Henderson conversation.
I don't watch the Broncos. Is Drew Lock really? Did he really look that good to where they have all this crazy faith in him?
He looked better than Will Greer.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Hey man, did y'all see that clip of Drew Lock rapping?
Yeah, he was rapping Jeezy or something.
Yeah, he was rapping Jeezy on the sideline. Yeah, I had to admit he won some points right there. But yeah, he was
wasn't
all right
the
last
answer
year.
when I went to training camp though, and I seen him pump fake 3 times on a screen pass. I said, "Oh no." Oh no! If you got a triple guess on a screen pass, you're not gonna be that guy right now. I knew then that he was gonna lose a backup job to Kyle Allen.
But Matt Rule said he thought Will Greer was the pro-readiest than the other quarterback in that draft. Did you guys forget about that?
You know what? Hey, Nova. You remember the last time?
He complimented everybody he tried to recruit and couldn't get.
Do you remember the last time we listened to that pro ready shit? His name was Jimmy Clausen.